years. That is one thing the fellowship I really miss. The other thing we miss is the L&T auditorium, which barring 1 year when we had the floods, we were having all the conference only in the L&T auditorium. They had been an industry partner for all our conferences right from the first one. And in fact, that itself, the auditorium itself is a beautiful place. Some of you would have seen that. And it is a testimony for most of the things we are talking about. We are missing that. And the third thing we are missing is the face-to-face interaction with our member participants. We hope next year we should be able to get back to our original in-person meetings. I think with that positive note, let me begin this program. I request all of you, other than the speakers, to be on mute, both audio and video to be on mute. And I would request Mr. Srivatsram, President of the Madras Chamber and the MD of Wheels India, to give his comments and welcome all people here. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome all of you to the conference on Tamil Nadu's emergence as a power sector leader, jointly organized by the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry under the auspices of its Energy Committee along with the India Energy Forum. I'd like to thank L&T for continuing to be our industry partner and for their sponsorship, and ICRA Analytics for being our knowledge partner. I'd like to extend a special welcome to Mr. R.V. Shahi, President IEF, former Secretary Ministry of Power, and Chairman Energy Infratech Limited. Welcome, Mr. Shahi.
Thank you.
Mr. Bhagwan Bambani, Secretary General IEF and former ED of BHEL. Mr. H.L. Bajaj, Chairman Power Group IEF and former Chairman CEA. And Mr. K.S. Popley, former CMD IRED and Chairman Renewable Group IEF. With Mr. Satyajit Suklabaidia, Head Energy and Natural Resources from ICRA Analytics, Bombay, who will set the tone in this conference by presenting about Tamil Nadu as a power sector leader. Mr. Venkatachalam and Mr. Suryanarayanan, Chair and Co-Chair of the Energy Committee, who have been instrumental in putting this together. I'd also like to welcome all other eminent speakers in the technical sessions and also all the participants. As Saraswati said, it would have been a grand occasion at the L&T auditorium, but unfortunately we have to settle for this virtual mode in these difficult times. I'd like to start off by introducing Madras Chamber. Of course, for a lot of us who have been here many times, it's not required. But Madras Chamber is amongst the oldest chambers of commerce. Actually, the second oldest in the country after Mumbai. And we were established in 1836, and we've been an integral part of growth of trade, commerce, and industry in the state. Our partner for this event, India Energy Forum, has a unique status as a voice of the energy sector in India. This is the 8th year that the Madras Chamber, along with India Energy Forum, have joined hands to discuss the power situation in the state, where we are today, what needs to be done, and what we need to do to sustain our current position, both for personal as well as industrial energy needs in the state. When we organized the first power conference way back in 2012, 2013, it was very topical because Tamil Nadu at that point was having a peak power deficit, and there were a lot of outages. And I remember even as an industry member, the number of times we had to meet Power Secretary was quite high. We have since seen quite a turnaround in a fairly short period of time. Topics of the conference over the years covers this turnaround story from moving towards energy security in 2013 to moving towards 24/7 sustainable power to innovation and use of emerging technologies for the future of power. So today we have actually reached a stage where the theme of the conference is Tamil Nadu's emergence as a power sector leader. From being a state which had issues and deficits, we have actually become a power surplus state in terms of production. The chamber, with its experts in the Energy Committee, apart from holding this flagship activity, we partner with like-minded associations for programs related to the energy sector, make representations as and when required. We had come up with a white paper on TangentCo's profitability called Profitability Improvement Levers for TangentCo by benchmarking with other discoms. This was done with Avalon Consulting. And we presented this paper to the government of Tamil Nadu with some practical suggestions and solutions for the issues. This was presented in a seminar conducted by Orville Consulting and the World Resource Institute in partnership with the chamber. We were also invited on the State Development Policy Council recently to make a presentation about promotion of renewables, issues and challenges, and this went down very well. Apart from these studies and presentations, we've also worked with the Orville Consulting on solar rooftop policy, and recommendations from these discussions were given to the government. We had a focus group discussion on the National Electricity Code and its implications. So this goes to show that the chamber, particularly with the support of our experts in the Energy Committee, have been continuously working on improving the energy sector in the state with our suggestions and recommendations. As all of you know, our Honorable Prime Minister has also been very involved in this, but India is a signatory to the Paris Climate Agreement. It was therefore proposed to have a separate policy for development and promotion of generation of electricity from renewable sources. The central government has introduced also the Electricity Bill 2020 to amend provisions in the earlier Electricity Act of 2003. The amendment looks at addressing critical issues that weaken commercial and investment activity in the power sector. Public comments have also been invited on these amendments, and some state governments have given detailed opinions related to these changes, including Tamil Nadu. As India moves towards the new paradigm of Atmanirbhar Bharat, our energy security is a key component of this new resolve. And India's energy policy is becoming now a global story, as it's also seen now as a large market for people beyond purely looking at energy security. And the target to increase renewable energy from 450 gigawatts by 2030 from the current 175 gigawatts is a significant amount of growth for renewable energy. India's energy goals cannot be achieved without the strong foundation of policies and targets which are coordinated between both the central and the state government, specifically related to the electricity market, design, renewable targets, and a strong cooperation and review mechanism. Tamil Nadu has amongst the most diversified electricity generation portfolios in India, with renewables contributing almost 45% of the installed capacity. The government announced Tamil Nadu government announced its solar energy policy in 2019 with the objective of achieving installed capacity of 9,000 megawatts by 2023. We have also been a leading state in terms of wind power, tapping our wind potential over the years. In terms of solar, again, the policy hopes to create a framework that will accelerate development of solar installations in the state, promoting both utility and consumer category solar energy generation through various mechanisms. The state government will also promote manufacture of solar components, including cells, inverters, batteries, etc. In addition to solar, Tamil Nadu is also a leading state for wind, and we have also leading manufacturers of windmill and components invested in the state. While all this has happened, there's still a huge potential for both wind and solar installations, and we will definitely be the leader in terms of India's aim of achieving 17 gigawatts of renewables by 2022. With so much of renewable energy in the mix, we've still been able to evacuate almost 95% of the informed power, which earlier used to be an issue. But now the evacuation of power is no longer a problem. Due to the tremendous efforts in terms of improving this reliability and affordability, Tamil Nadu is now a power surplus state with hardly any power outages. While we have emerged as a leader, there are still few challenges that we have. The financial status of TANGEDCO with mounting losses and huge debts is definitely an issue that requires immediate attention of the government. And while we have faced many challenges in the past, as mentioned earlier, we are positive that by working together, industry and the government, we can find suitable solutions to overcome the challenges that we have. With these opening remarks, let me welcome all of you to this important conference. Thank you very much for joining us and look forward to a productive session ahead of us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. As he mentioned, we have been very active contributing through white papers, roundtable sessions on this, and Energy Committee under the chairmanship of Mr. Venkatachalam and Mr. Suri as co-chair had been very active even during COVID, I should say. Thank you once again, Mr. Srivats. Before I invite Mr. Bamba, I would be happy to recall the first interaction I had with him in Delhi, sitting in India International Center along with Mr. Anil Razdan and others, just very casually discussing. I don't remember how we started meeting, honestly. We were having that meeting and we decided we should do a program together here. And that I was talking in 2011 or early 2012. And here we are, as you just now heard, 8th year of collaboration going very strong. Thanks a lot to Mr. Bambani and his team. I would now invite Mr. Bambani to tell a little bit about the India Energy Forum and maybe a little more about the partnership that we have been carrying through. Mr. Bambani, as Mr. Srivats mentioned, he was former Executive Director, BHEL. He's a graduate in engineering, mechanical engineering, and Masters in Business Administration with specialization in finance from University of Delhi. He is one of the founders of the India Energy Forum. He is closely associated with various associations promoting policy for energy security in India. And he had presented papers on clean coal technologies in various seminars in India, China, and Germany and other places. Over to you, Mr. Bambani. You are muted.
Mr. Bambani, you need to unmute yourself, sir.
Mr. Bambani, you have to unmute. Swarna, can you help?
Not yet. Yeah, now it's okay. Now it's okay. A very good morning to you. Very good morning to you all. Some disturbances there.
I think you have two systems on, two audio on.
Yeah, hello.
You have to keep one audio.
Can you hear me?
No, sir, it is echoing.
Hello.
That's good. See whether you can mute from your end one of the things.
I have muted him, ma'am. I think there is two devices, so if you could log out and log in,
Hello.
Log in two devices, it becomes an issue. Got to tell him.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for your nice introduction. India Energy Cherish Association with Madras Chamber of Commerce. As you rightly said, this is our 8th program. India Energy is completing 20 years of its existence, and we will be celebrating our 20th anniversary in the February 2021. India Energy Forum is a unique organization dealing with complete gamut of energy. We are a
Mr. Bambani, you have any
registered NGO and have been organizing all verticals of energy conferences. In the August of this year, the new team under the leadership of Mr. R.V. Sai as president has been installed, and since then we are also organizing many virtual programs. I cherish all the 8 programs India Energy Forum has organized along with Madras Chamber of Commerce. She rightly said when we came in the first year, nobody was able to face the press because Tamil Nadu was reeling under shortage of power. Everybody was running away from the press. But what a wonderful thing has happened. Tamil Nadu has now become surplus in the power. The vertical of distribution is the main now area for them to make some changes. Yesterday we had a program on distribution reforms where Secretary Power was present. Lot many things were discussed and deliberated. All the programs of the Government of India and the gaps which are there to mend this vertical, which is very important. Distribution is the weakest link today, and I'm sure in the next 2-3 years we should be able to handle this weakest link, and the power sector will become a very, very competent and profitable sector. Madras Chamber of Commerce, of course, is a very old organization, very professional. Our program has a content value. I have visited, attended every program, and this is part of our annual events. I am sure we will continue to have this association. Mr. Sahi, our present president, is a very active and dynamic personality. He is born with the power, has been with the power sector since all his career, and his contribution and encouragement makes India Energy Forum more vibrant. We are bringing out our publication, Total Energy, now in digital form, wherein we cover all our programs and decisions and news in the energy sector. I am very grateful to Madras Chamber of Commerce for organizing this joint event. We had a lot of discussions together. Ultimately, we decided that let us go virtual as others are doing, because we are not sure when we will be able to hold the physical conferences. Thank you very much again, and we look forward to our long association. Both organizations are highly professional and very competent in this field. Once again, thank you on my behalf, on behalf of our President Mr. Sai and all the members of India Energy Forum. I take this opportunity to wish you all Happy New Year, Healthy New Year and Prosperous New Year. Our association will become more stronger and stronger day by day. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bambani, for echoing our views, literally. I think you had some external speaker. We were getting the message twice. Thanks for highlighting our collaboration, and I assure on behalf of the Madras Chamber, the President and the team, that we will continue. In fact, that is the reason we didn't even want to have a break in the chain. Despite COVID, we said 2020 cannot go away without one joint event, and that's why we are here. Thanks again. We will now have the pleasure of listening to Sri R.V. Shahi, the current president of the India Energy Forum, and he had been kind enough to join, and in fact we had 2 preliminary discussions with him even while designing this program. Let me very quickly introduce him to this audience. He had held the position of Secretary to the Government of India, Ministry of Power, for nearly 5 years, from April 2002 to January 2007. In this position, he was responsible for policy initiatives and implementation for the ensured power sector for nearly 168,000 megawatt capacity in the country. He was directly responsible for long-term planning and in mechanical engineering, engineering. I'm happy to know about that. But he also in business management. He was the World Academy of Engineers India, a fellow of International Institute of Electrical Engineers, and a fellow of Indian National Academy of Engineering. Mr. Shadi, we are very happy to have you here, and we now look forward to listening to your special address. In the meeting, Mr. Babani, can I request you to be on mute? I think there is some extraneous noise coming in. Thank you. Be on mute. Okay, thank you. And over to you, Mr. Shadi.
I think we have some audio problem. When Mr. Bambani was talking, then also we had problem. I thought it is from Delhi. When Saraswati was talking, again that problem happened. So it is that Delhi and Chennai both. And now also, I don't know. I think we request all the participants to mute their system. Is it because of that, or I don't know how it is? Because I could understand what Saraswati was talking, but toward the end it was, now also it's a problem. So let me, what do we do?
Mr. Babani, can you be on mute?
Mr. Bambani, is it from your system that problem is coming?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think it's from Chennai.
I think it's a general problem.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me profusely thank the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry, particularly Sri Vatsaji, who is the president of this great institution, and Saraswati, who took pains. In fact, she definitely insisted that I should also participate in the preparatory sessions for this program. Out of the 3, are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we are here.
Yeah. Out of the 3 preparatory meetings that were held, I think at least I could attend 2 of them to get into the nitty-gritty of what should be the schedule and what contents we should discuss, what should be the thrust of the program. So let me congratulate Sri Vatsaji and Saraswati for this great event which is finally happened. Of course, we will miss the Honorable Minister who was requested to inaugurate this program, but then all the professionals are there and the program will go on. I have very good memories of Tamil Nadu, right from my initial days of joining this government and service, and I was doing just at that time post-graduation in industrial engineering way back in 1967-68, and therefore I found that state that time, it is 50 years back, a very disciplined state, and people are business-like, punctuality. Some of the things in my early years of career, I found Tamil Nadu had all the signs, all the indications of being a very progressive state. Today, I think all of you should be proud that in the whole country, this is one of the largest economies, I think second to Maharashtra, and contributes almost $300 billion of GDP annually. $300 billion of GDP. So the state is very much industry friendly, very much industry oriented, very much business oriented. Urbanization in Tamil Nadu is one of the best and perhaps the best in the country. They have lesser population. In that lesser population, larger population, a good number of population is covered through urbanization. You know that in a country like India, which is developing, and people say 70% of India live in villages, urbanization is one of the aims and objectives. That semi-urbanization. Why? Because we want to make available the benefits of development to all the people. So urbanization means better roads, better connectivity, better education facilities, better medical facilities. So these are the features of converting the rural economy into urban economy, a little bit of industrial activities, service activities in rural areas, which make their life much, much better. So I think in that, Tamil Nadu is way ahead of most other states. As I said, second only to Maharashtra in terms of GDP. In GDP ranking also it is very high. Among the top 10, GDP growth. GDP is number 2, but GDP growth, even last year, 1920, it had registered about 12% or 12% and odd in GDP growth. It has, in the energy sector, as very rightly said by the President, Mr. Srivastava, it has huge problems. Because the conventional power side, it doesn't have so much of coal mines, because as you know, Indian power sector has been predominantly having the coal as the base. Even today, we have almost 200,000 megawatt out of 373,000 megawatt of capacity. We have 373,000 megawatt of capacity in the country. So not only Tamil Nadu has become, I wouldn't say surplus. Surplus is a relative term. If you do more industrial activities, you grow much faster, you provide more reliable thing to everywhere, modern gadgets, your demand increases, and therefore your surplus becomes not deficit, but at least it balances. So therefore, we can say, many people have started saying, has India become power surplus? At 1200 kilowatt hour per head per year, that is the per capita consumption of electricity. Whereas the average itself is close to 2,700, 2,800. China is almost about 4,000, 3,900, 4,000 kilowatt hour. And leave out the European and North American and others. So therefore, to say that we have become power surplus, I definitely think that Tamil Nadu is way ahead of the national average. When the national average is close to 1,200 kilowatt hour per head per year, Tamil Nadu may be in the range of 1,500 and plus. So that at 1,500 plus kilowatt hour, or maybe even a little more, we cannot say that we have become power surplus. We can only say that we have not harnessed all the potentials of growth, all the potentials of development. Because if the world average is close to 3,000 and Tamil Nadu is at say 1,500 plus, India is at 1,200, around 1,200. Obviously, we can't say the 375,000 megawatt of capacity of India and about 30,000 plus megawatt of capacity, installed capacity in Tamil Nadu, also capacity available from central sector, etc., etc. That is what you have. Perhaps your peaking load comes to 1,700, 18,000, 17,000, 18,000, 19,000, in that range. Definitely you cannot say power surplus, but we are comfortable today. For the types of activities we are doing, we seem to be having not a deficit, because our mindset has got so much used in the past of suffering the deficit that little bit of better availability of power. In Bihar, If power is available for 18 hours a day, people say, oh, we're great, because it wasn't available for 2 hours a day earlier. So obviously, it is a relative term. Tamil Nadu should be proud to have nuclear installations in the country. I think Kalpakkam we should be proud of. Pudukolam we should be proud of. 1,000 megawatt each unit and number of units in the pipeline. Maybe it may go to 6,000 megawatt. Kalpakkam is getting into a major breakthrough research going on for some years. And because, as you know, we do not have enough uranium in the country, and we cannot have only uranium consumption based power generation. We depend on import even now. So therefore, our scientists, nuclear scientists and engineers engaged in Nuclear Power Corporation and Department of Atomic Energy, they have been struggling on this fast breeder reactor where the fuel used will generate more fuels than it is used. And therefore, there will be a chain of capacity that will come, and that exercise, that research is going on in Tamil Nadu. So Tamil Nadu that way has a lot of things on the energy sector, which we should be proud of, India should be proud of, and those in Tamil Nadu should be even better, more proud of. You are on the renewable, I think you took lead way back in, I think in somewhere in 2000, when Purnalingam was chairman, Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. We were talking of so many things that were happening on the renewable side. On wind, breakthrough works were done in Tamil Nadu. And it so happened that I don't know whether Purnalingam is around in Tamil Nadu and is attending or listening. We had occasion to work together in the Ministry of Power when I came to Ministry of Power in 2002, early 2002. And one of the states that I visited in the first 1 month or maybe 6 weeks of my joining was Tamil Nadu. And Nan Desikan was the chairman of Tamil Nadu Electricity Board. He took me to a few substations around and see. And at that time also, one of the worst problems that Indian power sector was facing, and that is theft of electricity, T&D losses, technical and commercial losses, very high. And I was so pleasantly surprised and happy that Tamil Nadu was not in that category. Tamil Nadu does not have that problem of massive theft of electricity, which many of our states have today. And that is breaking the backbone of financial strength of most of the districts. At least 8-10 states are suffering so hugely because of massive technical and commercial losses. Technical loss, commercial loss is really theft of electricity. Theft, pure theft of electricity. So then I asked Nan Desikan that at that time I remember it was in the range of 15% plus, which with Indian standard you can say was very, very satisfying. The whole country was 30% plus or 35% plus. Many states were having losses in the range of 40, 45. Today it is less, but I'm talking of 2003. And then I asked the chairman that if you are so good, the people are so disciplined, people are so responsive, customers are paying, and they are not, there is no pilferage of electricity, then why is it that the financial strength of the Tamil Nadu Electricity Board is so weak? And I'm happy in his brief, not brief, in an elaborate description of the energy scenario in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Srivatsa gave, definitely he touched upon that everything is fine, but financial thing is a cause of concern. And it is a cause of concern. Only yesterday, as Mr. Bamani mentioned, we were having a debate on this distribution sector reform. And in India's Power Secretary, Mr. Sanjeev Nandan Sahai was there for the whole 2 hours of discussion that we had. And a very good presentation was made by our colleagues from the industry. And this is the problem. We said that in the chain of power sector, as we say that the weakest link of the chain determines the strength of the chain. in the chain of power sector. And why power sector? In the chain of power and fuel sector, even coal is getting affected, even BHEL like manufacturing setups are getting affected. The weakest link in the country is distribution, where we are losing hugely, losing in terms of, and almost 1 lakh crore plus of payment dues by the distribution companies to the generating companies and transmission company exists today. So that is the scenario. But with all good things in Tamil Nadu electricity sector, this is one thing which is a scar, it is a problem, because many of you may not know. Yesterday's presentation gave a chart of top 10 states having maximum annual loss. And do you know Tamil Nadu is number 1 there? You are number 1 in many things. You are number 1 in some of the very good things, very good parameters. But unfortunately, Tamil Nadu is also number 1 in making highest losses, annual losses in the electricity sector. And that is because of serious mismatch between the cost of supply and the revenue that we realize. And mind you, I underline this, it is not because of pilferage or theft of electricity, it is because of very irrational way of looking at the tariff. I recall I went along with Mr. Suresh Prabhu in maybe May or June or July, around that time, 2002, and met, we had an appointment with great Madam Jayalalitha ji, Chief Minister. And that time the agenda was that should NTPC set up a big power station exclusively for Tamil Nadu, because NTPC was created to set up power station on a regional basis. The agenda was, should we set up, and the power station is, I think, somewhere around Chennai itself. And we were discussing that what message we are conveying to the country, that a state which gives free power, we are setting up central generating station exclusively dedicated to them, going out of way, and we are not even raising this issue as to why it is happening. So this was the agenda. Myself and Mr. Suresh Prabhu reached the office. Within a couple of minutes, Honorable Chief Minister came, and we put this thing straight. And I must tell you, I was so impressed. She responded that give me 3 to 4 months time, and I will pay to my people directly, the poor people, and elected free power will not be there. Today also there is a controversy in the state that is going on. There is, but mind you, by 2003 March, within 1 year of my joining, and it is a coincidence and it is an effort, we had removed from the power map of India free power. Punjab, Captain Amrinder Singh, who is now the Chief Minister, was the Chief Minister then. We discussed with him half a dozen times. We got it out. Madhya Pradesh, we got it out. Tamil Nadu, we got it out. No free power. Unfortunately, in 2004, in the middle of 2004, when new dispensation came, late, I think the late Chief Minister, we should name him, shouldn't name him, he declared that agriculture will be free power. Free power. First meeting after taking oath. And from there again, Tamil Nadu repeated and a few other states repeated. So I think this is one area, and I entirely agree with the President of Madras Chamber of Commerce, that this is that he has also voiced a concern on this area, that most of the things we are doing so well, why is it that we are stuck up there? I think there has to be debate, intelligent debate, how to go about it. Of course, Electricity Act does provide that if a welfare state, if the government wants to subsidize someone, some section of consumers, though policy does not favor free power, but subsidized, then the extent of subsidy it wants to give to that section of society, it should pay to the distribution company. In your case, your distribution company. Fine. How much power you are giving to that section of consumer, meter that power and then pay, so that these companies run. Why did we restructure electricity boards to work in a professional manner? generation, transmission, distribution company. Of course, in Tamil Nadu, distribution and generation is combined, transmission company is separate. There was a great degree of reluctance to restructure electricity board. Finally, it happened. But why did we do this? That these companies should run on professional lines. Their accounts should be audited. They should publish their accounts like all businessmen or like all companies do. And accounts should be quite clear. If the government wants to help certain section of consumers, of course it can, provided it has the budget, provided it has the financial strength. But then it should pay to that company, which is the company, run company. So I think that is the only issue. I must congratulate Tamil Nadu industry group, Tamil Nadu businessmen, Tamil Nadu people, and Tamil Nadu government, that they took the first lead on renewables. As I said that way back, I was interacting with chairman of Tamil Nadu Electricity Board, and I was so impressed with the emphasis that was being given to the wind. That time solar was not affordable. Now solar has become affordable. Again, Tamil Nadu is giving a good amount of emphasis and priority to this. I think out of 30,000, which includes the allocations from central generating companies, almost 8,000 or so of renewable generation, renewable capacity exists in Tamil Nadu. So in many ways, when you said Tamil Nadu is the leader, you are the leader on bringing renewables. You saw the future earlier than many of the states. So you saw that disruption of technology that will happen, and therefore you took the lead. And I must congratulate the industry, the government, the policy makers. The only point is that if you want to be number one, why do you come out as number one in the financial side? So I must accept that instead of my emphasizing, the president of the Madras Chamber of Commerce himself emphasized this point. This is an area of concern, because if financially any organization becomes weak, its ability to serve the consumers becomes handicapped. Only such organization can serve the consumers in the best possible way, and consumers deserve that, which is financially good, financially strong. So with these words, I am very happy to be having this association with Madras Chamber of Commerce. India Energy Forum, the other day I told Saraswati we can do even more programs to disseminate information, to learn from each other. It is not that only Tamil Nadu or Madras Chamber of Commerce. I mean, there is nothing like a bigger organization or a smaller organization. We have to learn from each other and mutually benefit each other. So once again, I thank you very much for this invitation and allowing me to share my thoughts with you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shahiji. Your points are well taken. As you said, and as my president also mentioned, we made a white paper on the very aspect we were talking about, the financial position of the TANGEDCO. Maybe we will share with you that and take your expert opinions, comments on that. And thanks for your appreciation for Tamil Nadu being a leader in the renewable energy. And as you pointed out, the weakest link of distribution, I'm sure, would be attended to. Thank you so very much. I would now request Mr. Satyajit Suklabaidya of ICRA Analytic to make a presentation. Again, like India Energy Forum, ICRA Analytics has also been, even in the previous avatar of IMAX, have been associated with the chamber, with this conference, right from the first program in 2017. So thanks again for your support. And to give a very quick introduction about Mr. Satyajit, he is the head of Energy and Natural Resources ICRA Analytics Limited, Mumbai. He completed his BE Electrical Engineering at Jorhat Engineering College and Master of Administration in Power in National Power Training Institute. He has varied experience in the power sector, particularly as he has been part of the Government Reforms and Infrastructure Development GRID Grid City based out of Mumbai. The key focus segments from his experience include regulatory, distribution, renewable and mining. And every year they have been our knowledge partner, as I said, and they have been presenting this paper, which has been well received. We normally pass it on to the government after this event gets over. Thank you so much again, Mr. Satyajit, for joining once again. And I now leave the platform to you, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So, very good morning to everybody, the panelists and the attendees. Thank you, madam, and the other panelists who have spoken. Mr. Sahi has spoken, Mr. Vats has spoken, and important points that has been come out of the discussions. And we're happy that we have been part of this workshop from many years now, more than 5-6 years now. We have been giving presentations and theme paper till the last year, and this year also we are as an ICRA Analytics, we have been associated as a knowledge partner. So the today's presentation which I'll do will be mostly on presentation, which will cover the theme of workshop today, which is the Tamil Nadu's emergence as a power sector leader. Yes, Mr. Sahi had pointed out, and Mr. Vats has pointed out that there are very good things that Tamil Nadu has done, and they have been leader in many of these things like renewable and other things. But what we are covering today is that, you know, what is the attributes of a leader? So if you have to become a leader, what are the attributes? Not only one or two things. And you know, across the country, there are states which are doing different things. There are different things. Some are doing very good in some things, and some are doing very good in other things. So we try to compile a key parameters and pointers which Tamil Nadu also can look at and see a comparison as to which way we are moving and how we can become a power sector leader. So very quick slides. I'll try to be very short in this. If I a discussion, the first is the power supply which Tamil Nadu will cover. Then attribute
Again, we have audio problem. I think audio was kind only in my speech.
Yeah.
Perfect. So Satyajit, I think there is some sort of a breakage. I mean, it's breaking in between.
Give me a second. I'll just change network.
Yeah.
Please.
Mr. Shahi, also, could you go on mute, sir? We're just trying to
Yeah.
manage the audio. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Is it better now? Is it better now?
Sounds like, yes.
Yeah. So the third point is Tamil Nadu versus what is the other key parameters, and what are the key learnings in this, and finally the action points which Tamil Nadu can look at to become a leader. These are only suggestive points. There may be a detailed aspects also. So first the power position in Tamil Nadu. If you look at the demand supply scenario and the installed capacities, if you look at the share of the renewable is around 44% for the installed capacity, similar with the thermal. So there is a very healthy mix of renewable and thermal. In the generation space, when you look at the actual generation, it is around 19% renewable and 64% the thermal. So you have a substantial, quantum of renewable, which is a very good pointer for you and a very good healthy mix of power for you. And when you look at the energy deficit and peak energy deficit, your overall energy deficit, it was almost around 10% deficit around 10 years back. But today we see that there is no deficit at all, or very negligible deficit. Whereas the peak energy deficit, there is some amount of peak energy deficit. If you look at the yellow graphs, these are a little bit of peak energy deficit, and we should also check about it, because once this peak energy deficit grows, your quantum of costly power becomes, you have to source more costly power. So Tamil Nadu as a state, as a DISCOM, has to look at controlling that, and probably we are doing very good in the last 5-6 years, and going forward also should try to keep this deficit situation in control. But the worrisome point is that when you look at the energy demand growth, it's only growing at a 2.13%. With a 5 years CAGR, if you look at 2.13% is the growth. and compared to a national average of 2.99. Obviously, the FY20 numbers would be a little lower due to the COVID situation and 21 also. But this typically good states have had a growth rate of 3 to 4%, 4.5% kind of number for a 5 years CAGR. So this is where, even though Tamil Nadu being an industry state, the growth rate of energy is very low, which concerns. And if there is an increase in this number, and if there is a benign policies both from the power becomes a major cost for the industry. So this is a very important point to look at. And so as I told, this deficit situation and the growth, that's an important point from this slide. Looking at the next slide, the consumer mix 18-19, if you look at a healthy mix of commercial and industrial, these are the most cross-subsidizing categories which actually support the subsidized categories of domestic and others. So from the perspective of not only generation, but from the consumer segment also, this is a very good consumer mix, which typically other states lack. They are either, almost similar or behind the kind of mix that we have. So this is a very good mix. And I believe that, the government is working towards increasing this, more kind of industries and commercial, and this would further increase a little bit more. On the consumption scenario, if you look at Tamil Nadu has a very good per capita consumption. This is an 18-19 number. And compared to the highest is Gujarat, which is the most industrial state. Tamil Nadu has in 1866 compared to any other state. If you look at Maharashtra also, when we look at a comparable state, Maharashtra, Karnataka, these are very high numbers, which typically are due to the commercial and industrial consumption in Tamil Nadu. And this per capita consumption of Tamil Nadu has grown at a rate of around 5 years over the last decade. This is also very important pointer for you, that your state is power hungry, and with time the availability has to increase, the deficit situation has to be avoided, and more installed capacities has to be planned. And how it has to be planned, we'll look at it in some bit in the power purchase slides we have prepared. Going forward on this, the aspects of what is the attributes of a power sector leader. So this is where we try to cover very few points. One, the first thing is the better resource utilization. When you say better resource utilization, how can you utilize the power which you are sourcing, and that reduces the average cost of power purchase. And when we look at this, we'll look at the detailed slides, but 70-80% of the cost of majority utilities across the countries, if you look at DISCOMs, Gujarat has the highest percentage of power purchase cost, which is 90%. And obviously there is a reason behind it also, because they have a very low operational cost. We'll cover in the subsequent slide. But this is a very high impact item which has to be looked at when you look at the financial position of any utility, because this is a percent of the of the utility or the DISCOM. Similarly, optimized power purchase cost, when you say it a linked statement, the reducing tariff and the ACS ARR gap. So ACS ARR gap is nothing but average cost of supply plus average revenue realization. There should not be a gap between this, unless if there is a gap, then there is a profitability issue. The financial health of the utility becomes a larger problem. Then we look at the third thing is the sustainable operational parameters, where most of the utilities who have performed well have very sustainable operational parameters which have impact on losses and investment environment. So today, when we look at any state where there are high losses, the investment in the generation or any kind of investments are very low or not at all encouraging. So that's where we have to look at sustainable operational parameters. Similarly, strong financial health, which actually safeguards operational, it directly relates to the financial health. And that's where, the payables are important, and we'll look at that numbers also. And the last and the final thing is the regulatory and policy support. So how the government, the regulatory commission are looking at, improving the regulatory regulations, new policies are being, enacted, and all those things has to be looked at. And attracting investment and increasing stakeholders' confidence is what which will be achieved by this. So these are the main pointers. We'll go to the slide by slide, a little bit of analysis on this. When we looked at the RE resource utilization, we told that the resources has to be optimally utilized. In that, if you look at the solar potential and the wind potential, there are two graphs. One is the left hand side, which is solar potential and installed capacity. See, so in terms of solar potential, if you look at Tamil Nadu, it's around 17.67 gigawatts. Compared to any other states, Gujarat, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, similar potential happens, but there is a substantial potential which is there. Out of it, installed capacity is only 4.3 gigawatt. So there is a huge gap between this, potential and the installed capacity. However, Tamil Nadu has been increasing their installed capacity in the last 4 or 5 years. Around 22% of installed capacity growth has happened. But if you compare to other states, Gujarat has a 62%, Andhra Pradesh has a 31%, Karnataka has a 86%. So the point which I want to drive is that this installed capacity can grow a large extent, and the kind of prices that we have seen, I think so we should be encouraged to look at this, reaping this, or unleashing this potential. And when you look at the utilization of this 17.667 is around 24% is what we have utilized till now, or we have unleashed from the total potential. There is a 76%, which is still to be reaped, and that quantum of potential has to be put on, an effort has to be put on, and that can be taken up. Similarly, on the wind, if you look at it's a very high potential in the wind, 33.8 gigawatts of potential, out of which 9.4 gigawatts have only been installed, with a very low increase in the installed capacity growth rate, around 28% only being taken up. So from these two slides, what we can say that Tamil Nadu has a very good mix of, or a potential of wind and solar capacities, where we should look at tapping this potential and being a cheaper source. Today, when we look at in the state, evacuation or giving dispatch to this power, consuming it becomes a problem due to the informed nature of the power. Bundled, if it is bundled with storage options, and there are storage options which have already, SECI has conducted a bid in the last 1 or 2 years, and they have also got a reasonable price. It may not look very attractive, but with time, this is going to be very attractive, because storage, solutions will become cheaper and the prices will go down drastically, similar to solar. And you could get a bundled power, and in terms of a very stable power. And we are actually working with one of developers, where we are seeing that they are able to manage the entire power. During the day, they are trying to develop the, generate this solar. And during the evening, they're using the storage solutions to, smoothen the load, and they're giving a very kind of stable power, a certain and a firm power to the utilities. They're offering that. So this is where we can look at, and this actually will lead to, optimizing your power purchase cost. And as I told, the solar tariffs have come down to around 1.99. Wind tariff has been ranging from 2.4 to 43 to 3 rupees. Compared to a thermal, where we'll come to the TANGEDCO own generation numbers, which are around 4.5 to 6 rupees. So there is a huge merit in looking at this kind of solutions, is what we think. And obviously, the policies would also be important to be looked at from the government side and the regulatory commission side. When we look at the optimized power purchase cost, which is also a linked slide to the earlier slide. If you looked at the APPC, or the average power purchase cost of DISCOMs, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Punjab, Madhya Pradesh, West Bengal, Gujarat, these are some of the states which have really good average power purchase cost. Odisha has a 3.37, maybe probably because of the hydro that is there. But other states are also working hard towards reducing this. And when I said that there's a major quantum of cost, see, look at the Odisha numbers, they are 70.95%, 83%, and so and such. Whereas Tamil Nadu is 67%, that also because of the different reasons. It's not because the power purchase cost is lower, but it's because the quantum of other cost, non-power purchase cost, is very high. We'll look at that chart, and the chart right side, if you see, look at the Tamil Nadu numbers. 4.52 is the power purchase cost, 1.05 is the operating cost, which includes the O&M, other things, and finance cost is 1.12, which is a very huge impact. When you compare it to a better performing state, in this parameter at least, Gujarat, you say it is only 47% total, which is non-power purchase. The entirety is 4.46. So this is a huge impact. Obviously, the finance cost is something which has come as a legacy from the unbundled the TNAB days, and that has been having an impact, and also the financing has been an issue with the TANGEDCO. But with time, I think so government has to look into it and also look at how to economize and put it into similar brackets of discoms. West Bengal, if you see, this is again 1 rupee. Madhya Pradesh is again 1.5 rupees. All of them are very lower than the operating usage. That is why the percentage of power purchase cost towards the total cost is 67%. So that is where I think so we have a merit in looking at it. And if we control this power purchase cost, at least which is in our hand, through RE optimization, through a competitive bid processing, TANGEDCO has, if you look at the other cost, I told higher APPC, the higher own generation cost is around 4.5 to 6 rupees, which compared to a RE tariff or a even a storage solar with storage or RE with storage will give you much lesser rates than this. So there is a merit in looking what to do with these plants and how to economize this cost and look at reducing the overall power purchase cost. So RE has a total in the power purchase portfolio of 10% RE share, and there is a major impact of fixed cost impact. So if you look at the own generation, there are limited offtakes from this some of the plants, whereas the fixed cost is still getting paid or recovered from the consumers. So there's a merit in looking at it, is what we think. Then on the operational efficiency, as you are told, that sustainable operations are very important. Consumer metering, still 89%, the act and the policy said 100% metering by so-and-so, but still 89% consumer metering exists compared to other states which are very high. Gujarat, Maharashtra, these are, well performed. West Bengal, if you look at, is a very vast state and they have achieved 100% now. And, we have been part of some of the rating exercise from the Ministry of Power. And we look at, they're deploying mobile, billings. They carry printers and carry mobile to do the printing of the bills on spot. Spot billing is there, even to the rural areas. So that's where an impact item has come in West Bengal. Then the AT&C losses, yes, Tamil Nadu has achieved a lot in terms of 17.47%. But if you look at the target under the UDAY, it is around 13.5 is the UDAY target. Compared to, a national average, obviously 22.03 is the national average as on 18-19. Tamil Nadu is doing better, but there is a huge room to improve. Some of the utilities have come to 9%. Some of the Gujarat utilities have done 10-11%. So there is a huge potential to reduce this, and also look at the billing and collection efficiency. Tamil Nadu has a billing efficiency of 83.5, collection efficiency of 98.9. So under the UDAY, the targets were collection efficiency was targeted to be 99.87, 100% billing efficiency. So this again is a major point where we should look at, and we should try to reach there so that your losses are reduced. So if you have a 5% reduction in AT&C losses, a broad estimate when you looked at, it may reduce your current losses by around 25%, is what we assess from the numbers we have seen. And this is a huge impact item. So your power purchase costs will reduce, your collections will increase, your billing efficiency will lead to your more billed energy. Those kind of impacts it will have, and the utility will become more sustainable, and even the losses will reduce. Then looking at the payables and receivables of power utilities of various discoms. This is a very important thing in terms of not only receivables. When you look at receivables, still this is decent compared to any other states. Receivables in terms of Gujarat is a better state. Tamil Nadu is also doing decently well compared to Maharashtra, Karnataka, and West Bengal. But when you look at the payables, sir, and please look at it in terms of when we look at the developers. Many of the developers come to us to assess the credit risk of a utility. The major issue which comes is the payables of discom, which is 298 for 298 for the 2018-19, and it has been increasing. And compared to a state like Gujarat, Maharashtra, West Bengal, it is very high, and it has directly impact on your any kind of power sourcing. When you run a bid, the kind of bids that will come from the developers, the number of developers are lower, the risk-taking appetite of developers are very low. Further, there is a risk premium which is added to their bid price. So that's a very important point which you should look at, and this also has an impact on your cost. It is not only that you are not paying to the developers, but you are also having an impact on your power purchase price when you run a bid and you are actually calling for sourcing power from renewable and other sources. Similarly, outstanding dues, overdues, we have looked at two numbers which are September 20 overdue more than 60 days, and October 20 also we have seen. Tamil Nadu has a huge quantum of outstanding dues to the developers. It is 1900, 1800 kind of crores, which is an worrisome numbers for us, and we should look at coming close to whatever possible, reduce this and put a more target to and reduce this. So this actually affects the entire generation and transmission companies who are actually serving you at the retail end. Going to the financial efficiency of power utilities, sir. If you look at the losses, despite joining Uday, the losses has increased. So this is the 18 numbers, this is the 19 numbers. Under the Uday, there is a financial restructuring which has happened, and there is a restructuring of loans and other things, but still the losses has been accumulating. Compared to any other states, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, these are all, there is a positive PAT. Here there are negative. Telangana also has a negative PAT. And if you look at ACS ARR gap, the average cost of supply versus average revenue realization, most of the states are very low. Gujarat, Karnataka, Rajasthan. Whereas Tamil Nadu has 1.32 kind of gap, which actually leads to your losses. So this is the main parameter which every utilities has to look at, and Tamil Nadu definitely has to look at. So out of the total losses of 13 to 258, your distribution and generation accounts for around 12,623 crores, which is a huge number. And the ACS ARR gap, Tamil Nadu has a target to reach at 0.07, but it is still at 1.32 in the 18-19 years. Looking at the government subsidy, the most important point is that wherever the government subsidies, dependence on the government subsidies is lower, there's a direct indicator of that the state is performing well, the dependence on the government is lower. So Gujarat, if you see, there is very lower dependence. Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh also a little bit reasonable. Tamil Nadu still has 19% to 15% range, which also can be reduced, and also subsidy received versus subsidy booked. So most of the states have performed well. Maharashtra, Karnataka, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, these are all well-performing states where the subsidy has been received from the government, whereas Tamil Nadu, it is also 100%. So that's a very important thing for us, even though there is a dependency, but the entire subsidy is received. But it's a very concerning aspect, because it is all dependent on how the state budgets are, and if the state budgets are poor in any financial, number of financial years, then there is an impact in that. So that's where we should look at. Then on the regulatory and policy support, if you just compare 2-3 policies and regulations, Tamil Nadu 2005 regulation, 2009 there is a small amendment, and there's a last amendment in 2014. So these are amendments, whereas other states, if you look at, Gujarat is coming out with 2021 regulations, and we are working for it with GS. Maharashtra has already issued 2019. Andhra Pradesh has 16, 14. So they have elaborate regulations in the tariff, which should be looked at from the CRC tariff regulations, and the updated, the new environment, the regulatory commission look at at this updating these regulations with the new environment sector environment. In terms of the deviation settlement regulations, most of the states has come up with the recent regulations with customized aspects of the state, whereas as of now isn't entirely dependent on the CRC regulation. Though there is no customization request or customization aspects which has been taken up for the state. There might be very issues in the state sector. So that is where we think that there may be a merit in looking at that. Then on the renewable policy, solar policy, Tamil Nadu 2019 only has come up. RPO regulation has been issued in 2020 with the 22 numbers. Whereas other states, if you look at hybrid policies, there's a new RPO regulation with increased, targets. RPO regulation 2019 in Maharashtra, 2015. Andhra Pradesh has come out with wind hybrid solar. RE export policy. So Andhra Pradesh has also come out with export, saying that will give a lot of incentives in terms of 30-year lease, etc. Cut in taxes and other things, and you can surplus RE surplus state, and you should export RE. That's the kind of which are coming up. So Tamil Nadu has a very strong reason to look at, because the potential that they have will be very important for them, and they can reap huge benefits out of it. So this is from the regulatory policy support. So when we looked at this pointers, sir, I think so some places Tamil Nadu has done very good, and there are still some places where there is a catch-up required. And in terms of the new regime, the technology, etc., has to be looked at. There are new rooftop which is coming up. There has to be a grid interactive rooftop. Smart grid has to happen. So all this will happen only when there is an investment scenario, good investment scenario, and the utilities are performing well. So to become a great utility and a leader, I think so these parameters are very key for us to look at and work towards it. And when we look at a very broad action points for Tamil Nadu to become a leader, is that optimize power purchase cost. What is that? Through better demand forecasting, because you have a lot of renewable power. There's a great element of demand forecasting, accurate forecasting, optimum utilization of cheaper sources, that is RE. Maybe retirement, looking at retirements of some old generating units to bring out efficiency, improve operational efficiency of DISCOMs. Then look at AT&C losses optimization, and looking at new kind of technology, consumer metering, etc. Financial stability, obviously, we looked at cost and interest coverage ratios, payables, receivables, and regulatory timelines, which is the most important point. Is that the tariff filings have not been happening yearly or in a periodic basis. That's also an important point which needs to be looked at. So I think so. This is what Tamil Nadu have done so far from the deficit scenario. A surplus scenario maybe in the annual, and then a kind of improvement in the operational parameters, efficiency, other things. But there is a long way to go, and I think so we should look at working towards that. The entire sector, government, regulatory commissions, and industry bodies should advocate these points, and I think so we can achieve and become a power sector leader very soon. That's all from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Satyajit, for that wonderful, very analytical presentation. We always value the knowledge paper presented. This becomes a basis for us even to take up issues or for us to do further studies. Thank you so very much. Of course, there are two questions. I don't know whether to take very quickly now. One is storage at substation level or vehicle to grid with proliferation of electric vehicles. And what would be the way forward to TANGEDCO to come out of loss? I don't know whether Mr. Shafi should reply or Mr. Satyajit should take up this.
Yes, so I know electric vehicle, I may not be able to comment right now. I have not understood the question. I'll try to look at the question again and see what is the thing. But in terms of the TANGEDCO, when you look at the utility, that's the most important aspect of the sector, and till the last end connectivity is an important thing. If the utilities are financially stable, I think so that can happen. One is look at tariff filings in a very regular manner. Look at improving the efficiency parameters from the distribution side, as well as look power purchase. As I told, when you look at this scenario of RE power, we are actually working with one utility to optimize their power purchase cost, and in that it has come out very clearly that today the thermal, which has been the base of our country for almost 2-3 decades, and the RE power along with solar, along with storage, give you a very good stable rate. First, it will be like 3.5 range. Going forward, not now, probably now it is around 4-ish range, even better than some of the, like I told, TANGEDCO generation plants are 4.5 to 6 rupees. But still, today we are getting a 4-ish range of landed price. But going forward, this is going to be more efficient and maybe 3.5. We do not know if it falls like solar. It may give you a better rate and also a stable power. You know, because what happens in a generation curve, this solar generation happens during the day, and you can actually decide as to what is the quantum that you want to dispatch and what is the quantum that you want to store. So your power stability, in terms of power stability during the day, you can actually have a cap at the generation for the solar and make it a firm power, predict it very early and say that this is what is going to come, and I will supply to the DISCOM, and the balance, whatever excess is coming, I'll store it. So that's how I think so. There's a merit in looking at that, and obviously the finance cost for TANGEDCO is very high, 1.12, as I said. From there, I think so. We should look at what we can do from the restructuring aspect, from the government aspect. The government has to look at whether there is a possibility of absorbing that or restructuring in any manner, and that we can work out.
Okay. Thank you. I think after Mr. Gomandan, we could probably share some of our recommendations which we made it in the white paper. I think Mr. Shahi, you want to add anything? Mr. Shahi ji?
No, I must congratulate Satyajit. He has done a wonderful job. The rating that he mentioned that ICRA is doing, that was the rating system we introduced in the Ministry of Power way back in 2003-04. To make all our utilities, all our states aware, we identified some 24 factors on which states would be rated. Half of the states were done by CRISIL and another half by ICRA. There is a thing that we started. I think a few years later there was a gap, but again it has restarted. That is bringing out a number of things. I think whatever I mentioned and whatever Sri Vatsa mentioned briefly in his introductory remarks, this has been further substantiated by these presentations that I think we could cherish, we could be very happy that things are being done, but 3-4 areas that have been identified. Optimize the power cost. Today, opportunity for all the states to optimize their power cost is huge because of emergence of hybrid solar and wind, solar, wind separately, thermal, hydro, all put together, they could optimize. I think this data analytics will be at its best to suggest to the state commercial departments, distribution companies, commercial departments, what way they should optimize their power cost. AT&C losses, he has mentioned another area which must be attended to by the Tamil Nadu group. So that's thirdly, regulatory. I mean, regulatory intervention in Tamil Nadu, I may tell you, has always been under discussion and debate. Long pending periodicity. You saw various states comparison that is made. I think wonderful job is being done by our Tamil Nadu, GENCO and TRANSCO and others. But some of these things, if they are not attended, the position that you are occupying, very high position that you are occupying, I mean, it will get let down there. So I think I will reinforce more now on the basis of this excellent presentation that has been. And I am very happy that Madras Chamber of Commerce is pursuing this. There is a need to emphasize and emphasize and emphasize this in all places where policy makers are there. Regulatory commissions, the State Energy Department, the Chief Secretary and others. That it is a pity that your top position is getting affected adversely because of this small intervention, set of intervention that are necessary. So once again, I congratulate Madras Chamber of Commerce and of course IEF also. Both of us have done a great job and we will continue to do so. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much.
I think
Mr. Bambani, your line is not all right.
I know. Actually, we could, as Mr. Shai suggested, when the things are normal, we will make another conference on the distribution reforms so that we can discuss in detail the distribution area of Tamil Nadu.
Sure. Thank you. Thanks once again, Mr. Satish. And before we move on to the technical question, we are already beginning schedule. Can I invite Mr. Venkatachalam, our chairperson of the Energy Committee of the Madras Chamber and Managing Director of Orient Green Power Company, to say a few words as a vote of thanks, and then we will move on to the technical session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saraswati, and it's been a wonderful morning session. Really, a lot of area has been covered. We started off by saying that Tamil Nadu has been a power surplus state right from the last few years, as when we've been having the conference from a very power deficit state. Also, the evacuation of renewables is a point which was brought out. I mean, with 19% of the grid, the power coming from renewables has been about almost 45% of the installed capacity. Tamil Nadu has done a huge amount of work as far as evacuation of renewables is concerned, by improving the grid corridor, by introducing strict scheduling and forecasting, the shutting down of thermal power plants, and also sale of power outside the states. So a lot of things have been covered. In fact, I would like to thank, starting with the IEF, who have been our partner for all these conferences, and a very good, valuable partner at that, Mr. Bambani, who's been spearheading the efforts to jointly work out the schedules and come up with a powerful conference. Of course, we would have loved to have it live at the L&T auditorium itself. Mr. Shahi, thank you so much. In fact, as an ex-power secretary, you were the right person to give us a bird's eye view of what the power sector is all about, and looking at it from a national perspective. You touched upon distribution, which you said should be a major part of the next conference, which we'll definitely include. And you said power surplus is not really a power surplus because we've not really reached the potential that we need to reach. We still have a long way to go in terms of utilization of power. Then, of course, you talked about the financial health of the DISCOMs and the power payments. I mean, it is really enriching to hear you, sir, and really a great experience for all of us. In fact, Mr. Bajaj and Mr. Popli are stalwarts in their fields. We'll be chairing the next couple of sessions on the national electricity, NEC recommendations, and also about how we can take the renewables forward in the next few years to meet the national objectives of 175 gigawatts of renewables within 2022 and beyond. ICRA, really hats off. I mean, you did a very good sector analysis of the power sector in Tamil Nadu and what are the areas that are really ailing the power sector as far as Tamil Nadu is concerned. Number of areas we've done well, but the financial status of it, Satyajit has done a wonderful job. I mean, it's always a pleasure to listen to this contribution, and we learn a lot from these presentations that you bring to the table in every one of our conferences. Then special thanks to Neyveli Lignite, who will be in the next couple of sessions. They've been really a leader as far as power is concerned in Tamil Nadu. And of course, Larsen and Toubro, who would have loved to have the conference there, along with the lovely lunch that we used to always get in a lovely round auditorium. Because we miss all that, and I'm sure with the COVID gone and the next year, with the vaccines coming, this will all be history and we'll be back to the normal ways. Then, of course, the MCCI team, Ms. Saraswati and the entire crew out there, led by Mrs. Srivatsram as well. Excellent coordination, and thanks to one and all. And I think we can go on with the next couple of sessions as fast as possible. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Venkat. Can we now move on to the technical session? Had we had been having the physical one, we would have had a tea break. Pardon me, I am not providing any virtual coffee or tea. We will move on to the technical session 1, which will be chaired by Sri Bajaj, Chairman, Power Group India Energy Forum and former chairperson of Central Electricity Authority. He is a graduate in electrical engineering and masters in power system from BEC Chandigarh. He was appointed as chairman of the CEA in 2002. As we all know, an apex technical organization in the power sector at the national level, Government of India. He was concurrently chairman of many connected institutions. He was the chairman of the Electro-Technical Division, Central Electricity Board, Bureau of Indian Standards, vice president of the governing councils of Central Public Research, Power Research Institute, Bangalore, and National Power Training Institute, and ex officio member of the Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, and on the board of directors of Nuclear Power Corporation. In the interest of time, I'm not reading it in full. It's such a long list of positions he had held. He is also a recipient of various national and international awards, which include Engineering Manager Award for the year 2005 by Engineering Management Society EMS, IEEE USA Platinum Jubilee Award of Central Board of Irrigation and Power India for outstanding contribution in the field of energy. He has contributed to various articles and presented many papers. So as Satyajit said, regulatory aspect is one of the important things for emerging as leader. Here we are to discuss about the policy. I would request Mr. Bajaj to say a few words and also introduce his panelists and kickstart the discussions. Thank you, Dr. Bajaj.
Thank you, Madam Saraswati. I am honored to be invited by the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry and the India Energy Forum to chair the technical session 1, where we are going to have 3 eminent speakers who are going to share their views on the policy issues, the Electricity Act 2003 and its proposed amendments. And I'm not sure, Saraswati, whether Seema Gupta ji has reported or not. I can see in the presence of Mr. Jogendra Bera is there. And also,
She's not joining.
okay, so we'll have only 2 speakers in this session. That is Mr. Jogendra Bera, who is head regulatory of India Energy Exchange, and Mr. R. Balakrishnan, who is general manager, head of the MEP design with L&T.
Hello to everybody. This is Balakrishnan.
Thank you, Mr. Balakrishnan.
Good morning, Bajaj sir. Good morning, all.
Good morning. Good morning. Now let me introduce Mr. Jogendra Bera, who is the. You can show up, Mr. Bera. He is head of the regulatory in India Energy Exchange and advisor in the Economic and Power Market Division of Central Electricity Regulatory Commission. He previously worked with the reputed organizations like PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers, and Deloitte as a management consultant. And he has advised both public and private sector clients from the power sector on wide-ranging issues related to the policy, regulations, business strategy, multi-year tariff, and efficiency, etc. Mr. Bera did his electrical engineering from IIT Delhi and management from the famous IIM Ahmedabad. So, before he speaks on the Electricity Act, I would just like to say that the Electricity Act 2003 has been a game changer. It has achieved some of the objectives for which this was enacted. the issues were unbundling of the vertically integrated power utilities into generation, transmission, and distribution companies. The aim was to Section 66 mandated the development of a market, which has not happened, as we see during Mr. Bera's presentation, that the volume of electricity traded on exchange, for example, is just to the extent of 5%. And there is much scope for increasing the trading of electricity. Open access, which had been introduced, and which was one of the very important issues. There needs to be done a lot on that score. One thing was that to encourage private participation in generation, transmission, and distribution. This has happened. The share of the private entities in generation, for example, has grown more than four folds. From mere 10% around the year 2000 to 2005, it has gone to nearly 46%. So the major area of concern, as brought out by Satyajit very ably, was the gap between the average cost to supply and the average revenue realized. This is something worrisome. Amendments proposed in the Act direct towards bridging these gaps by way of policy accommodations. And I think now I will request Mr. Bera to make his presentation. Thank you, Mr. Bera.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Can I share my PPT? I have a small PPT, or I have just sent in the mail also.
So you can share the presentation, sir. I have given you the rights.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Better.
Yeah. First of all, thanks to MCCI and IEF for organizing this webinar and giving us the opportunity to share our views on Electricity Act. So, as Judge sir has already told, and as you already know, Electricity Act brought a paradigm shift in the way the sector was functioning. Apart from taking care of or safeguarding the consumer interest, the focus was to enhance efficiency by bringing in the competition. And accordingly, various clauses are introduced to bring wherever competition is possible. Section 66 mandated the regulatory commission to take measures to develop electricity market. Similarly, the concepts like open access, competitive bidding was introduced to promote competition. And in terms of consumer safeguard, protecting the 100% electrification, rationalization of tariff, transparent policies regarding subsidies also captured in the Electricity Act. And the Act also laid emphasis on promotion of efficient and environmentally benign policies by bringing in the concept of renewable purchase applications. So, because of such a broad-based and well-thought-out framework, the sector has actually the sector has actually moved forward during last decade or so, and a lot of significant achievements have been there. We have become a surplus country. The RE penetration and capacity addition has increased significantly, nearly about 25% of the total installed capacity. We have achieved one nation.
Sorry, Mr. Bera, if we can be a little louder, it would be.
Am I audible?
Yes. Thank you. I think you are not audible at all now.
Hello.
I request others to be on mute, please.
Is it audible now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you. Sorry for the disturbance. So we have achieved quite a lot because of the way the Electricity Act has provided the legal framework, and we have become a surplus country, and our capacity right now is almost double of what the peak demand is. The RE penetration has gone up and almost reached 25% of the installed capacity. We have achieved one nation, one grid, and in fact one price also. Congestion has become a talk of the past. Household electrification has also increased significantly. Competition has been introduced in the wholesale market through competitive auction mechanism for long-term power procurement and introduction of power exchanges and the platform for the short-term market. And as a result, you could see the efficient price discovery that is taking place. And in fact, just to highlight that the market clearing price in power exchange is currently in the range of 2.5 to 3 rupees. And particularly during COVID and during this year, the prices has in fact gone below 2.5 rupees per unit. State commissions have, state commission as well as central commission has laid down the framework for open access, and measures like ancillary services, deviation settlement mechanism, etc. have been introduced to ensure that there is a grid discipline and we operate near to 50 hertz frequency. So yeah, just again to give you a bird's eye view, just to put things in perspective. So generation capacity has significantly increased, almost more than doubled during last 10 years, with a lot of investment coming from the private sector, and good merchant capacity addition has also taken place. Transmission congestion has come down from almost 15-17% a decade back to 0.4%, which is almost, we can say these are all the, because of technical requirements, practically there is no congestion. Similarly, volume in the exchange, the trading volume in the exchange has gone up steadily, and as a result of which the prices discovered in the exchange has come down steadily, and has stabilized around 3 rupees or 3 rupees per unit. So while the achievements that we have made are quite remarkable, and we have to be thankful to the policymakers for giving us such a good framework, legal framework for the sector. There are a lot of challenges looking forward, and the challenges are equally, difficult to achieve and requires a lot of thought and application of mind to ensure that we meet those challenges. Some of these challenges are I've highlighted here. The age-old problem of DISCOM viability is still there. DISCOMs are yet to turn around, as Satyajit has already presented. High AT&C losses, gap in cost versus realization is still continuing, which is making these DISCOMs financially unviable entities, and they're unable to turn around. And it has its implication on the entire value chain. Similarly, open access got introduced in the Electricity Act, and supposedly it was one of the hallmark of the act to give non-discriminatory open access to consumers, and as a result, bring competition in the sector and also put pressure on the discoms to improve their efficiency. But as you could see in terms of implementation, if you see, we have not achieved what we have envisaged in letter and spirit because of several tariff and non-tariff barriers for large consumers. And similarly, we have been discussing about bringing competition at the retail level, which is again missing. The draft was proposed in 2016, and subsequently that, there is nothing on retail competition. RE capacity addition and integration, we have achieved significantly in terms of capacity addition, but the targets are really tall targets before us to achieve 175 gigawatt by 2022 or 450 gigawatt by 2030. And this is only possible if actually the capacity addition, there is market signal for the capacity addition. It can't only happen through policy support or providing the fiscal incentives and all. So there is a need to bring those RE through market mechanism. And at the same time, there is also a need to have a uniform market all throughout the country, because as you could see that the states have organically developed a different mechanism. There are differences in the forecasting and scheduling mechanism of the state and the way the RE power is treated and the tariff is determined. So that needs to be ironed out. And RPO has been instrumental in developing this RE market, but enforcement is still, we need to further bring improvement in the enforcement as well. At the same time, the dynamics of the market is also changing significantly because of proliferation of the RE, where as a legal framework, as a policy, we need to pay attention to. And finally, the strengthening of the electricity market. I think 2003, the competition was considered to be the bedrock of efficiency improvement, and that's how the Act put a lot of emphasis on that. And 2010, the power exchanges came, and then as a result, the transaction volume has increased over the period of time. But since last 4 or 5 years, what we could see is there is a stagnancy in the volume, and the percentage of trading or overall transaction is only hovering around 3 to 4%, and the liquidity is not growing as such. There is a lack of products. There are multiple reasons, obviously, for that. Lack of products, long-term PPAs, lack of products like we don't have, let's say, financial products like futures and forward, which CRC and SEBI are unable to resolve since last almost 10 years. And then instruments like market-based ancillary market or capacity market, and so on and so forth. Also, there is a lack of visibility in the target market model, in the sense where as a country we are moving forward in terms of market redesigning, what we want to achieve. So I think these are the challenges which are before us. Like last decade, I think the emphasis. Although Electricity Act brought that change, and then the orientation was towards introducing the competition and strengthening the market. But in the next 10 years or so, I think, because the Act is usually for longer period, I think the decade is about how to further bring competition and increase this liquidity in the market and bring efficiency. So some figures here, which Bajaj sir also has hinted, that if you could see that near about there is 10% of transactions which is taking place through short market, of which 4% is only in the power exchanges, and this volume are more or less constant in the last 4 or 5 years. The short-term transactions is still in the range of 10%, almost last 8 to 9 years, and there is a little increase in the volume transacted in the power exchanges. That because some of the volumes are getting shifted from the trading licensee or DSM to the power exchanges. So as a result, some minor improvements is getting observed, but it's more or less 3 to 4%. So that's pretty much constant over last 4 or 5 years. And if you look at open access, lot of, tariff and non-tariff barriers are existing, and this vary across different states. This just gives a snapshot where in some states the cross subsidy surcharge is as high as 2.7 rupees per unit, and additional surcharge is as high as 1.8 rupees per unit. So that creates the tariff barriers, and the viability of buying from the power exchanges gets reduced. And similarly, the non-tariff barriers such as delay in issuing the NOC or delay in ABT meter installation, the restriction on scheduling, let's say 8 hours or 24-hour round-the-clock scheduling, minimum load restrictions. So these are some of the non-tariff barriers, and all of these has practically stifled the open access that is taking place in the country. And from the exchange point of view, when we see the volume, then around 2013, 14, 15, the open access volume used to be around 60% of the total volume. But now this has dwindled to, in last 2-3 years, this has dwindled to 20-25%, which again suggests that the open access has got stifled because of various tariff and non-tariff barriers. So in this background, I have captured some of the suggestions and some of the broad level suggestions, which while amending the Electricity Act, the policy makers should take note of. I've just bucketed them across 4 or 5 broad areas which I have highlighted. The first and foremost is obviously to strengthen market mechanism. That the next decade is about ensuring that the market mechanism gets further strengthened, and the efficiency can be realized, as we have already experienced during last 8 to 10 years. So, this has been talked often of separating the carriage and content, bringing the competition at the retail level. The competition that we could see and discussions or deliberations are going on with central regulator and Ministry of Power related to the long-term legacy PPAs and how this can be managed. And in fact, MOP came out with a recent guidelines of allowing DISCOMs to release the PPAs after 25 years or after the completion of PPAs. So while that can come as a rule, but maybe in some way if there can be some provision which could capture this in terms of either which could end up in a policy or rule, that would be that's very much required. Then when the market is going forward, we see that there are a lot of products, like for example future and forward market. We just saw that how because of lack of clarity between the Electricity Act and SCRA Act could not allow the Central Commission to introduce the forward contract in the market, and this is going on since almost a decade. So similarly, for resolution of long-term PPAs, like if we see the consultation paper on market-based economic dispatch issued by the CERC, there is discussion of bilateral contract settlement, which is nothing but a CFD. But there is no clarity that whether such CFD instrument can be introduced, because then it is in contradiction to SCRA Act, and there needs to be clarity is required to be brought into this matter, because this cannot be addressed by regulations at the Central Commission level, because it's only drawing power from the Act and a subsidiary regulations in terms of the legal hierarchy. So while amending this Electricity Act, one needs to see that where such kind of instruments, what are the issues which are there, which needs to be addressed, overlapping legal framework, if it is there, that needs to be addressed, and then Act can suitably address that. Then similarly, power exchanges, which is operating since last 10 years, should be recognized, and the procurement should be considered under Section 63. Right now, power exchange procurement are exempted from competitive bidding guidelines, but as we think of introducing NTSD contracts and moving forward with longer duration contract, I think to enable the DISCOMs to procure power, I think there is a need to recognize that. So in all of this and in all of the consultation paper that we are we are seeing, there is a lack of clarity on where as a sector we are moving and what kind of interventions are going to take place in the market redesigning space that could bring, that could unlock the potential and bring in the efficiency. So there is a need to have a vision document, having having a target market model design similar to what perhaps in European market it was done. I mean, for the target market model was there for almost like 20 years, which the market followed in a gradual manner, in a stepwise manner. So I think central government, I mean, Act can have this provision of allowing the central government to prepare and notify a national electricity market policy similar to some other policies which is there, and which could provide at least a clear roadmap where what is the vision, what we want to achieve in terms of market, what are the changes that we are going to take place, and maybe the appropriate commission at the center of the state can be guided by that policy while creating the regulatory framework based on that. So these are some of the suggestions on market development. If we look at RE, again, the same point I would like to emphasize that RE capacity additions we have been quite successful, and we have reached almost 90 gigawatt. So that's quite a lot. I mean, that's not a mean thing. But when you think of the targets that is before us, it's very difficult to achieve those targets unless the market signals are there to do the capacity addition and all. So there is a need to give emphasis to the RE development through market mechanism. Already the amendment bill 2020 has captured this, that central government may notify the national renewable energy policy, and that could in fact lay emphasis on how the development can take place apart from policy support through the market mechanism. Also, it was mentioned that the RPO trajectory should be specified in this policy, which can be adopted by SERC. That would bring some uniformity across the states. What we see that although the RPO, trajectory is there, and the Act is clear about the state commission being the commission who ensure that the RPO trajectory are fixed and then complied with. But I think the Act should provide some sort of enabling provision for creating a monitoring mechanism for RPO fulfillment, and so that the enforcement can be actually be very effective. And in case of non-compliance, maybe some penalty mechanism. Not sure how it would look like, but at least monitoring mechanism is the need of the hour, because there is hardly any centralized database which captures what is the RPO monitoring. I mean, MNRE perhaps is doing that, but I think there is a lot of gap there. Provision for developing market mechanism, again, the same point that I started with, and introduce concepts to ensure that all those market mechanism gets developed. Maybe the Act can introduce concepts like, let's say, aggregator or VPP or balanced responsible parties, which are in vogue in Europe and other countries where renewable has a dominant share. And that would help us in grid integration and managing the intermittency. Maybe a licensing framework can be thought of to manage that. And to create a uniform market, a uniform forecasting and scheduling across the country is required. Because at states, we see that the settlement takes place on actuals, whereas at the interstate level, recently we introduced the green termite market, where all the settlement is taking place on schedule, and there is a mismatch here between the way the transactions are settled in the interstate market as compared to the state. So there is a requirement of having a uniform forecasting and scheduling across the country. Not sure how it will be captured in the Act. Maybe it can come through the National Renewable Energy Policy also, but something to be kept in mind while thinking of RE development. Open access, again, open access is an important pillar for developing competition in the sector. And the Act is the only place where all those barriers can be removed. Open access, current is there. Open access is guaranteed for consumers more than 1 megawatt, but gradually, in a time-bound manner, that limit can be reduced, or maybe open access can be provided to all consumers in demand. Not immediately, maybe in a time-bound manner, in a phase-wise manner that can be specified. Eliminate additional surcharge and cross-subsidy surcharge again in a time-bound manner. So earlier also it is there in the current Electricity Act, but there is a need to specify the time and ensure that this get completely abolished, along with the tariff rationalization of discoms and all. Unconditional approval, again, this how it will come in the Act has to be thought, but to reduce these non-tariff barriers, there is a requirement of unconditional approval or deemed approval, which is essential to remove those barriers. Here also there is a need to have a monitoring mechanism. How much open access, perhaps in the National Open Access Registry is in the pipeline. So perhaps by that implementation, perhaps more transparency would come in the application and the open access granted, and that would help. But in the Act itself, we can think of creating a provision where maybe State Commission can be given this responsibility to monitor what is or have a performance standard and monitor how much open access has been applied for, how much has been granted, and whether this tariff and non-tariff barriers are actually becoming hurdle to open access or not. And in this case also, central government may notify a open access policy, as we are talking about market policy, renewable energy policy, or in tariff policy, a dedicated section can be included to address this open access. And the amount of trust that the policymaker put on the open access while framing the Electricity Act should be reinforced and ensured that open access becomes actual success and the benefits accrue to the sector. Some basic observation related to distribution sector. Tariff rationalization is obviously one of the key to ensure that the tariff are determined on a commercial principle, and any subsidies that is there should be provided directly to the consumers through DBT mechanism. I think already this has been proposed in the amendment bill 2020. Maybe the consumer, we feel that maybe the consumer segregation is not that much required. Tariff can be determined at the voltage level, because at the end of it, it is the same electricity that everybody is consuming. The carry forward of losses should be prohibited, because that is creating an escape mechanism for carrying forward the losses and DISCOM continuing to be unviable. Prepaid metering, 100% metering provision, all this can be included. I think these are the majorly our observation related to what provisions should be considered while amending the Electricity Act. Some of these provisions have already been captured in the Electricity Amendment 2020 bill, but many are still not part of it, and I think these are the suggestions which I could think of. That's my presentation. I think 15 minutes was given to me, and I completed within time. Is it fine?
Mr. Bajaj? Thank you, Mr. Bajaj. I think I will leave it back to Dr. Bajaj.
Yeah.
You are muted.
Yeah. You can hear me now?
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bella, for your excellent presentation touching very vital issues. And I'm not summarizing because it was so lucid and elaborate. There are a few questions. First question is that how much power is purchased by Tamil Nadu from the exchange as a percentage of its total power? You have any idea? Hello, Mr. Bera. Mr. Bera, can you hear me?
Otherwise, we can go with the second speaker and take the questions together.
Okay, second question, Mr. Bera. I think he has put himself mute.
Probably we can then request Mr. Balakrishnan to present and then we can ask.
All right. Okay, done. May I invite Mr. Balakrishnan to please give your presentation, and before you do that, I would like to introduce you to the audience.
Excuse me, sir. I dropped because you are asking some questions. Maybe I take it now or?
Yes. Now I think the organizers have advised me that we'll take up the questions after the second speaker has also.
Sure.
But thank you very much for your excellent presentation. That's what I said. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now we come to Mr. R. Balakrishnan, who is the General Manager and Head of the MEP Design, L&T Construction. Mr. Balakrishnan has more than 33 years of experience of handling various projects in construction sector of commercial buildings. He is with the L&T Construction, Chennai since last 24 years and is responsible for design in MEP areas related to commercial buildings and airports. His expertise are in MEP design in L&T Construction includes electricals, FEMs, PHE, HVAC, and CFD systems. His milestone projects are the largest airports of India, that is the Hyderabad International Airport, Delhi International Airport, Mumbai and Bangalore, Kannur International Airport, and so on. He is BE Electrical from Delhi College of Engineering, Delhi University. Over to you, Mr. Balakrishnan.
Yeah, thank you for that introduction, Mr. Bajaj. Nice introduction. I would like to just have the sharing access so that I can share a small presentation and talk through what is the and other things. If you can give me the sharing right, yeah.
Okay, Saraswati ji.
Yeah,
we are doing that.
Yeah. Is it visible?
Yes.
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Please
thank you. First of all, I would like to thank all the people to invite me, because I'm a different type of person. I am a designer, but consume a lot of power for projects. So we have the mandate to design things very efficiently, electrically, and a lot of power in various projects to give a insight. Almost we designed for almost 600 megawatt per year. So I think we have a lot of responsibility as designers and as L&T. So I would like to say a few things before we start into the main topic of electricity. Basically, the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, our self-reliant India campaign, has been aptly put by our Honorable Prime Minister on 12th May 2020. So we'll have to be quite self-reliant and carry forward. And a lot of incentives has been announced in this, and what government has done is taken a lot of bold reforms such as supply chain reforms for agriculture and other systems, and including the electricity. We also, as mentioned, that we should be self-reliant and it should be inclusive with intent, investment, and better infrastructure. This is apt for the transmission of electricity, and we'll have to get in a lot of innovations. That is the key requirement. And if you get into this electricity, see, right now, all the industries are paying around 8 to 10 rupees per unit. So through the distribution system players. So this is a major cost. And I think aptly it has been put by the previous speakers that there's a lot of transmission loss and other things which is leading to this much expensive requirements. So we'll have to look at making it more efficient and make it cheaper for the power to be supplied to the consumers. So this is one requirement we need to, all of us need to aim for and take a lot of steps. And the government has also given this PLI production linked scheme for 10 different sectors. And for us, the 3 sectors which are very important is for the electricity requirements is the advanced chemistry cell battery, that is the storage that will be related to the solar and wind power, and the technology products. They were allocated around 18,100 crores and 5,000 crores respectively. These are incentives for the people to set up things here, and they will get incentives for producing things. That's the government is enhancing the key sectors for enhancing the C sectors. And another important aspect government has also thought of is the solar PV modules. For that also they've allotted incentive around 4,500 crores. So these are some steps the government is trying to enhance incentives to make the power more reliable and innovative. So for Indian manufacturers to become globally competitive, they should reach to this level, 5 rupees per unit. This is a requirement if they are to be competitive with other countries like Malaysia and Vietnam. It has to enhance the renewable energy front by including good hardwares and modules. Modules should be more efficient and the cost of manufacture should come down. So that is the thing. So in this, the investment would be around 80 billion USD. That's the forecast. And the solar modules alone will be worth 50 billion USD. So this is where people have to concentrate and try to make it as economical as possible for the growth in this country. And also the government, to make it more self-reliant, has increased the customs duty to 40% to discourage import of modules. This we should take it as an opportunity and convert it, that we make it available within India. I think importing has led to a lot of costs and other maintenance issues. So this is this thing for the solar developers. This is a great thing for solar developers to set up here in India. In the renewable energy, already Tata and Tatas and Adani have pitched in, already expressed interest for manufacturing lithium-ion batteries, which is a technology which you can store more energy in a smaller footprint. So this is something India is looking to promote in a bigger way, because at present these batteries comes only from China and Korea for storages. So this is something, if it comes within the country, it will be great. And these are required for all the electric vehicles and energy storage systems like solar and other things. And it will also give a very stable power supply. So the government has set up a national mission on transformation, mobility and battery storage. The core objective of this mission is to obtain cohesiveness in the policy framework for promoting e-mobility and battery storage in the country. So this, in the niche sector like renewable energy, will get a lot of reforms and uniformity. That is what is going to come. And it is also looking at green hydrogen energy. So this is something people can explore. in the coming years. People can set up something on this green energy, and this is used widely in Germany, and it has become the most energy efficient country in the world. So half of windmills of European Union is located in Germany. So India can actually produce, already the previous presenters have given as a potential of 102 gigawatt of energy from wind alone. So this is something we need to build up. A lot of opportunities here. On the Electricity Act, this is a landmark, of course. The 2003 electricity was a landmark, encouraging the competition in the sector. Generation was delicensed. Transmission segment was open to competition and large consumers, including the private players, so that they also come out with cheaper options of energy supply. So we are, by this act, we are trying to build a robust transmission network, which is our weakness presently because we are having too much losses through this. This has to be plugged. And that is why this market with single price for pan-India will help if this act is modified and you have a single price across pan-India, that will help the consumers a lot. So for attracting in this segment, private participation, as I said, and all the risks and returns, all this needs to be taken care so that a lot of people come and put up this thing and ensure multi-year tariff regime for tariff visibility. So when the production costs are low, that should be passed on to the consumers. This is something we should get into the act. While these reforms should already be planning for further follow-on steps, DISCOMs need to be benchmarked with global peers in terms of standards of service and quality of supply. So this is something needs to be incorporated so that they are also accountable for good supply to the consumers. Interruptions is one way of doing it. Interruption should be compensated at a higher rate of alternative supply for a consumer. This is one way of making them more quality and standard oriented. If implemented in true spirit, these reforms will usher in a new era of DISCOMs, making them bankable, efficient, pro-consumer business ventures and pave the way to Atmanirbhar Bharat. So India with this will become a global, already becoming a global economy, and if this part, the electricity part, is taken into the next level with more efficiency and competitiveness, it is very good for our economical growth. To achieve this, the stated make for the world, the priorities remain focused on policies that can further integrate India in global value chain, including through trade, investment, and technologies. Announcements relating to finance and DISCOM sector, almost government has announced around 30,000 crores liquidity scheme for both primary and secondary market in terms of these investments. The partial credit guarantee scheme for all this is provided in the forms of liquidity to 45,000 crores. Power Finance Corporation and Rural Electricity Corporation is to infuse liquidity of 90,000 crores to DISCOM against receivables. These are some of the key government policies which is trying to help this sector. And apart from this, I would like to tell a few more things which was touched upon already. There is a NRE policy being formed under the government. This is proposed under Section 86(1) of Original Electricity Act. So the state commission are under compulsion to follow the guidelines by the NRA and prescribe a minimum percentage for purchasing electricity from renewable and hydropower. Along with this comes a surety with a normal percentage in the form of incentive for the producers. There is also a policy to make it cross-border trade that is also going to be enacted. And this is applicable pan-India, including Jammu and Kashmir. So this is something, an incentive for all the non-renewable energy which can be taken up in our country. I think this is my views on this, and with that I end my presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balakrishnan. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm able to hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very, very valuable viewpoints you have, and especially, the single point that is, you wish to have quality electricity at ₹5 a unit for the industry.
Correct.
And it will definitely make our products more competitive in the international market. And I think this single point program itself sets everything right, because everything will follow. If you have to, if the electricity sector has to provide electricity at ₹5 a unit, obviously they will have to be more efficient. They will have to optimize the cost of purchase of power, and they will have to go ahead with the forecasting of the demand in such a way that they can use more of renewable power, which is now coming down to a cost of ₹2 a unit and average maybe ₹3. But the power generated by thermal stations is to the extent of ₹4 to ₹6. Obviously, if they have to supply at ₹5 a unit, they must not buy at more than ₹2 or ₹2.50. And then it will be included the cost of distribution, the losses of distribution, and the administrative charges. I think this is a very good direction that you are providing. And the moment we come to this ₹5 a unit, there will be a spurt in the demand of electricity by the industry, and there will be more, utilization of our assets, because right now, our thermal assets, for example, are operating at 50% loading. And when you operate at 50%, the cost of production again increases, because that is not the optimum operational level. Because if you are operating at low plant load factor at 50%, you will need more fuel, because the consumption of fuel will increase at the low loads. Maybe to further reduce this, you may have to give the oil support to the furnace, and therefore electricity will become more costly. And so this has a very impact. It's a domino effect. So ulta, if you have to reduce the cost of electricity, everything falls in line, efficient, and everything, And I think you have very rightly suggested that we need to produce within the country Atmanirbhar, and for that, of course, once you are having a lot of renewables, then its integration into the electricity grid becomes a big issue. And for that, if there is a storage facility available at reasonable price, then of course the integration becomes less troublesome. And therefore the development of the lithium ion batteries and the advanced chemistry batteries is very important. And of course, reducing the cost of solar modules, building them within the country, and you have very rightly related it to the custom duty imposed and encouraging the local industry. Thank you very much for all these inputs. I see yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Balasubramanian, for sparing your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I think Saraswati ji is there. You can take over now. Miss Saraswati.
Yes, I think Mr. Behra had to leave. Had we known
yes.
So
he will send you the replies. We can forward these questions to him, and then you can, put on email or.
We will take the questions from the chat box and we will forward to him. Send the reply back, since he had to leave urgently. If there are any questions Mr. Balakrishnan had to take, we can now flag it up now. Mr. Balakrishnan, are you able to see the questions, or should we read it out?
I'll just go to the questions. I'll just see.
Yeah, if there is any question you could take up, you can. Otherwise, we will get the questions and forward to you. I think some questions are for Mr. Behra.
Mr. Balakrishnan has been, I think I like his demanding 5 rupees per unit.
Yeah.
And this will set the whole house in order.
Yeah.
We aim at selling electricity to the industry at rupees 5 a unit. India will become a different country altogether.
Yeah.
Because there will be our own production will increase, and local demand increases, employment increases. Everything is linked to that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think if there are no
One
questions,
question I will take.
Yeah,
I think
please.
there's one question. What would be the way forward for TenderCo to come out of loss? Okay. I think that is something somebody has asked.
yeah, that was asked in the previous session, and Mr. Satyajit did answer a bit. You can have if you want.
Yeah, yeah.
No,
See, we
no,
also
main-
have to invest in some technologies like the microgrid and other things, where I mean, we'll have to invest in that innovations and technology. It will be a cost spending thing, but it can go a long way of controlling these losses and other things. So since we are getting into different forms of energy, like thermal, the solar, the wind, I think the microgrid is the way forward, like to make it more efficient. You know, as he was saying, Mr. Bajaj was saying, we might run the plant at 50%, but still consuming a lot of raw materials, or you will have a lot of losses as well. So such condition, if you use a microgrid or systems like that, it will tell not to use the thermal energy when there is losses. You can go into the other energies to stored energy or whatever way. So this is something they could think of in the future in critical areas. They can start with probably the big cities and then go down to the smaller cities. This is one way of, you know, really controlling the loss.
Thank you very much, Mr. Balakrishnan.
Yeah. Such team, I have a question to ask. May I come in? I'm PP Gupta this side.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Mr. Bajaj, very happy to see you after many years, safe and healthy. I hope you remember me.
Same here. I was tempted to chat with you, but then it's good, so kind of you to have responded. हमारे दिल की आवाज आपने सुनी.
Thank you, sir. बहुत दिनों बाद आपकी आवाज सुनी. But Chennai people don't understand Hindi, so we'll talk in English.
Yes.
No doubt.
नहीं, हमको हिंदी आती है. हमको हिंदी आती है.
Thank you. Sir, ये बताइए 5 rupee a unit is not at all difficult if cross subsidy goes out of the system, and any subsidy given by a state is go through DBT route directly to the party through the exchequer as the policy is. This magic is achievable in this country. You see, we have all abused. You have rightly said many things, sir. But how has Electricity Act served anybody in this country? Now, let me share with you the lobby of captive power producers. Maybe there was a 10 years back when we needed captive power in this country. And today they consume 2 kg, 3 kg coal to produce 1 unit of power. But they are viable only because of our tariff policy. If that 80 gigawatt of captive power comes on the grid, you tell me what will be the efficiency of the system. And cross subsidy goes out, I think not 5 rupees, sir. You can give power at 4.5 rupees. What should be the tariff in the country as a multiple of APPC? Why we cannot define in Electricity Act, sir?
Yeah. I think that's the point I was telling. I think there should be uniformity and all this cross subsidies and losses. These 3 things needs to be controlled. And if there is an uniformity
not controlled, sir. They have no place. They have to be made zero. Subsidy, any be paid through DBT route directly. That is what government has been talking. Because subsidy creates inefficiency. It creates barrier. You say one nation, one grid, but ultimately cross subsidy makes it 28 grids. Because you have 28 subsidies in the system.
I think you have said it. It's really very important because the cross subsidy is one of the major contributors to the price of electricity to the industry. Definitely it is there, and therefore it is not desirable to have, because if you have somebody is using a subsidized electricity, like farming, for example. If you are using electricity at subsidized rate, it has been seen in some places that people have been overwatering their crops and therefore spoiling the soil itself, and the water table has gone down, say from 100 feet to 200 feet, and therefore next time you have to pump power, you need more power to you need more power to pump out the water from 200 feet rather than 100 feet. So cross subsidy is not desirable. It makes electricity for the subsidizing sector very pricey, and also introduces the inefficiencies at the user level. But as it is, probably let us see what more can be done other than the subsidy. Subsidy issue is a very sensitive issue, and I would like to say more about it. Everybody realizes that cross subsidy is posing a big problem. But supposing we were to have, say, a battery storage system and solar power at 2 rupees or 3 rupees, even 3 rupees, then you can supply that power, distribute that power, including the, say, administrative charges and distribution losses. Maybe you can come up to that 5 rupee desirability. Also, if you are using, say, coal-fired boilers and generating power with coal, then if utilization factor is only, say, 50%, then your fixed cost itself doubles up, because you are using your asset only at 50%. 50% of the asset is being used, and therefore the fixed cost simply doubles up. And with that doubling up, the cost of power generated at 50% loading itself will be more than 5 rupees. And add to that the distribution cost and the distribution losses, then you cannot supply at 5 rupees, even if there is no cross subsidy. So these are issues, very valid point you have raised, and I am glad you are from the independent private sector. You can talk about it, and good that you brought it out. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. I think we should carry over some of the discussion for the next technical session. In the interest of time, can I request Mr. Popley to take over and invite all the panelists for the second session to come onto the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you once again, Saraswati, for organizing this.
A big thanks to Mr. Bajaj and the team. Mr.
Mr. Bera and Mr. Balakrishna. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And very quickly, let me introduce Mr. Popley. He is Popley, who is the former CMD IREDA and Chairman Renewable Group of India Energy Forum. He had served in power and renewable sector for 37 years and have led IREDA as CMD from 2014 to 2019. He is currently the advisor at the International Solar Alliance and the Chairman Renewable Group at India Energy Forum. He's a fellow of the Indian National Academy of Engineering. He's a graduate in law in Delhi University and completed the course in investment appraisal and risk analysis in power sector at Harvard Business School. Thank you so much, Mr. Popley, for joining. Let us have the other panelists on the screen. Mr. Gupta is already there. Can I invite Mr. Jain?
Mr. Jain is unfortunately not able to join because.
No, I understand he had joined. Swarna, can you activate his link, ma'am?
Ma'am, we are trying to help him out, ma'am. He's having some difficulties, ma'am.
Okay, good.
Mr. Amit Kumar is there?
I see Mr. Amit Kumar. His video is not open, but he's there.
Mr. Amit Kumar, I hope you are there. And Mr. Ganesh?
Yes, I'm there. Yes, I'm there.
Great. And Mr. Ganeshan, I am not able to see him.
I'm also trying to find. Anyway, you can kickstart. Let me
yeah, he's there.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Ganeshan is very much.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, all. I joined. Ganeshan has joined.
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. Welcome, Mr. Ganeshan.
Thank you, Saraswati ji. Thank you very much. We had a
Let me also try to get Mr. Jain if possible. You can, in the meanwhile, start.
Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much. We had a very good 2 sessions in the morning, the inaugural session, and again, the next session was very, very informative. And of course, it had thrown a lot of things for us to discuss. Now, what is it that Tamil Nadu's emergence as a power leader, and how can renewables help Tamil Nadu becoming a leader in emergence as a leader, continue to remain as a leader? We have 4 very good panelists today. We have a veteran in Mr. P.P. Gupta, who started his career with BHEL, then went on to banking sector, and then he is a very, very successful entrepreneur running a very, very professional firm. He is IIT IIM graduate, so it will be great to hear from him. And I think I would request all the panelists to be more candidates, move forward, and this helps the sector. This helps Tamil Nadu, which is one of the leading power sector measure today, with highest contribution from renewable energy sources today is from Tamil Nadu, and they have a huge potential. The few things that were discussed in the first session was that for emergence as a power sector leader, one has to optimize power purchase cost, reduce AT&C losses, and financial stability. I think all the 3 things can be held by renewables. Maybe another sector that that can be included is maybe solarization of pumps, and maybe solarization of transport sector. Now, what also we have seen is that the growth of energy in Tamil Nadu has been below the national average. It has been around 2.19% of this. That was what was told in the first session. So that can be held by renewables. We have a gap between APPC and ACS. There is a gap of around 1 rupee. I think today, when renewable is available at less than APPC price, I think renewables can help a great deal in Tamil Nadu in optimizing their power purchase cost. Also, even the round-the-clock power cost is cheaper than their APPC price. So I think renewable is a winner for them, and they have so much of potential. So we would like to hear from Mr. P.P. Gupta, what are the barriers that you see in Tamil Nadu in accelerating harnessing of renewable in the state?
Thank you so much, Popley Saab, and I hope you are safe and healthy, seeing you after many years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome, sir. I will speak ex tempo and from the heart.
Yes.
And I have no written presentation or no artificiality to add to it.
Yeah.
Tamil Nadu is a mecca. In my language, it's a mecca of renewable power, has always been. So much of potential. Like in 70s, we discovered pit heads for thermal power stations. I will say with no uncertainty that Tamil Nadu is the pit head of wind power, sir. And any renewable power, rather, I will say. Mecca of renewable power and pit head of wind power, sir. That is the kind of potential this state had. And this was the first state in the country to have more than 50% of power installed capacity in renewables. always, from the very beginning. And state government was very supportive of it in those days. From 95 onwards, they were very, very supportive, sir, till as late as 2006. Unless they would have helped, renewable power would not have been what it is today. It is all because of Tamil Nadu. But somewhere down the line, along the line, I will say that things started becoming not true to the subject and true to the very benefit of the state. The state should have taken benefit of all this potential, but instead they used it only as a, in a very ad hoc manner, this strength of theirs. The APPC scheme was created in the country in 910 only to support states like Tamil Nadu or Gujarat, because only 5 states were recognized by REDA itself, who have the potential to produce renewable power. And let not these states limit the generation of it. They produce more than they can consume themselves as a RPO obligation, but they must be able to export to other states who have no potential to produce it. That is why the very APPC plus REC mechanism was created, so that the state producing do not pay more than the very cost of the conventional power he procures. So he is not overtaxed, and environment component is paid by another obligated state under RPO obligation. Now, this potential was never exploited by Tamil Nadu. They just ignored it. For what reason? I have no idea, sir. We were the first IPP in our time in 910 when we created 200 megawatt capacity, when people used to do 10, 20 megawatts, only for captive purposes or otherwise. Even in those days, Tamil Nadu has a capacity of no less than 4 gigawatt, but largely in captive capacity, which gradually has grown now in wind only to the extent of 8 gigawatt. And in total renewable, I think Tamil Nadu is today at no less than 10 gigawatt in generation. And they are almost producing no less than about 17, 18 billion units a year. That is the total potential of it. But down the line, the regulatory mechanism has been very, very ad hoc, and I will, if allowed to use the word, I will say incompetent in my language, sir. Because there was no legal member for 5 years, the bench was virtually abandoned not to take up any case of any IPP or any of the cases on the tariff side or others. They started operating only from 1819, and they largely remained, as far as TANGEDCO was concerned, they were always struggling to survive. You see, now struggle to survive is different than reforming to survive. That's how I put it. The potential of Tamil Nadu board, which used to be almost number 2 or 3 in the early 20s, has today 20 plus in the list of the states as a performance in terms of losses or in terms of tariff or in terms of service. So all this can be revived so easily. The state has all the merit, all the potential. What is required is that merit need to be encouraged. And obviously, any state which do not perform to desired levels, lot of vested interest and lobby becomes a way of life, which administrators have to learn to overcome in this case, sir. And ad hocism cannot be a way of life. It has to be a visible policy to the where any investor feel encouraged, and they have somehow confused somewhere down the line a sale to board category versus captive power. This need to be distinguished very separately, where board procures the power and distributes, and where power is produced and banked or transferred for captive use. These two policies should be dealt at arm's length, and there must be vehicles on it. The tariffs ranges in this state almost from 2 rupee to 7 rupee in terms of the procurement of renewable power, which itself the state should look on why it should be so. Why, how they can rationalize the tariff, these PPAs, and how it can be made, productively utilized for the pro-consumers, and how subsidy can be properly handled between the state. So whatever legacy they have, that must be isolated and funded once for all by somebody, either center, state together, or by any lenders. And so that burden is no more on the utility to bear. And they can have a fresh start where they, like now you have extended a package of 1.2 lakh crore to all DISCOMs to pay off their old dues. But does it mean it assures additionally that present dues and future dues will happen every month as per the PPA terms? The PPA must be honored, EPA must be honored. If some PPA is troubling them, then they must take steps to find means to get that PPA set right, rather than putting, everybody at stake in the region. Like we have a EPA now. This is the first state which capped AWPC also, which is unimaginable. That the capping AWPC implies you want to buy renewable power cheaper than the very conventional power also otherwise. That is what you are trying to say, that my renewable power price must be no more than 75% of the conventional power cost to me. Which anyway, while computing AWPC in Tamil Nadu, they don't include high power costs, based on liquid fuels, short-term purchase. They are not part of AWPC at all. So all high cost purchase power is out of the purview of AWPC. So despite that, they cap AWPC. If AWPC is 3.5 rupee, the AWPC rate has paid to the sale to board category, which should be different and paid in full. If you want to cap AWPC, that should be only for captive power users who sell some banked power to the state. That distinction somehow state never brought. That somebody has used 90% power, 80% power for his production purpose, and then miscellaneous power is handed over to the state. So state may be right in paying him some fractional part of the power cost. But in a sale to board category, you cannot treat him like to like on a captive power, generator who has already taken benefit of the power to his production advantage. So these are the challenges which are main created by the people. Then they will say, we won't pay delayed payment interest. When you pay only 2 rupee as a tariff after capping AWPC, where is the viability of the project if the bill is not paid in 30 days? How do you pay the installment? How do you pay your lenders? And if you want to deny, if somebody has got a tariff of 5 rupees, 7 rupees, obviously all these contingencies are already a part of his tariff. But 2 rupee tariff is not bidded by him. It is determined by you by virtue of your own regulation. And if that regulation does not include these contingencies, then how do you expect him to waive the interest payments? You want him to write his murder signature? What do you want him to do? So these are kind of issues which are obviously discouraging. Even, sir, where has SECI emerged in the system? It is all at the cost of inefficiency of handling the very regimes by the states who were capable of producing it. Today, SECI, what did SECI did, sir? Only competitive bidding, which is almost around AWPC price only. Additionally, the generation cost, the transmission cost, we do say is free to the generator, but definitely the state is paying under TBCB mechanism in one form or the other. In addition, the the grid availability is assured to be 100% in SECI regime, or deemed generation is paid. Whereas in intrastate regime, the grid availability is no more than 90%, generally in Tamil Nadu. That is one challenge which they need to look into. The cheapest power must always have a full grid availability. Anyway, the renewable power is the cheapest power today in the country, sir. And secondly, in 15-16, 14-15, they procured power from merchants at almost at 5-6 rupees a unit, and putting the grid down to the renewable power by almost 40%. That is where they created a legacy borrowings of 20,000 crore, which they are not able to serve now, year on year, year after year. So they need to find answers to the issues they have accumulated, but not spoil the future because of the bad past for some reason or other. So some kind of rationalization is required, that when even central government extends a helping hand, it must have an answer that we are not spoiling tomorrow again. If again dues accumulates tomorrow and I am not paid for years, then how do we handle life year on year? So when you clear a backlog, it means no backlog is to be created tomorrow. That has to be assured first. Then only creating a backlog is cleared. So I will say that state should create a committee of advisors like you, like Mr. Bajaj, or other veterans, or local good people who have created the board, and build a regime which is healthy, strong, survive, and can be, and no more such kind of help is required tomorrow, and become self-viable in itself. That's what I will like to say. It has a great potential, immense potential. They need to learn to harness themselves by engaging people properly and rewarding their well-wishers, efficient people around them, and not people with vested interests. That's what I like to say, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Popley, you are muted.
Thank you. Thank you, Gupta Sahab. I think you have brought out very, very relevant points. And what is actually ailing Tamil Nadu power sector is maybe the 10 GEDCO is making losses. The overdues are for the highest days, what was shown in the first session, 298 days compared to maybe the highest being in Karnataka of 305 days. Now that adds on to the cost of power. And then they will not, and then from 2012 onwards, the renewable has taken a backseat probably, because there were a lot of curtailments on renewable energy, and the losses were, if you said, even if it is 10%, it was around 2,200 million units. So that is a huge loss, and therefore the harnessing renewable has taken a backseat. And I think those are some of the issues. Now Sunil Jain has joined. Welcome, Mr. Sunil, to the session. And I think before I invite you...
Thank you so much. I had tough time joining, but...
Yeah. So that is another barrier removed. And now I'll request Mr. Amit Kumar, partner PwC. I think he needs no introduction. Amit Kumar would be talking about investment climate, policy and regulation in Tamil Nadu. And over to Mr. Amit.
Thank you, Mr. Popley. I hope I am...
Yeah, you are audible.
There are no technical. Thank you so much. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers for inviting me on this. And, in the RE Invest, we had a session on investment climate in Tamil Nadu, and it was pretty well received. And, there was a lot of discussion around the kind of investment which is happening in Tamil Nadu. So I'll bring forth some of the recent changes or the policy which the Tamil Nadu government and the policymakers have brought about since 2000. We all know, and the earlier speaker, Mr. Gupta, also mentioned about how Tamil Nadu is sort of market. We all know that 14.7 gigawatt kind of renewable energy installation has been there in Tamil Nadu, which is around 17% of the total in the country. So that speaks about, the kind of steps state has taken and the investment which has come about. Tamil Nadu actually came out with a solar energy policy in the year 2019, and it very clearly mentioned that they have the intended target of 9,000 megawatt by 2023. So that is one, and the policy also is to encourage a PPP mode, public-private partnership and joint ventures to mobilize the investment. So it is not just a target, but they are also thinking the investment through the PPP route. TN Guidance, a new agency has been set up, and we all heard in the first session about it. So I think facilitating easing of doing business through that in the state has been one of the landmark of that policy. Then, very importantly, along with that, in the year 2019, Tamil Nadu also announced a policy on electric vehicle. Now, electric vehicle, the thinking has been that not only the green on the transport side of it, but utilize the green energy for charging infrastructure. So that was in 2019, where they said that around 50,000 crores rupees kind of investment and a target of 1.5 lakh new jobs. This is the intended target for the electric vehicle policy. And then, they said that, they will create infrastructure and all. At the same time, central government also supported Tamil Nadu, and they identified 5-6 cities, those which are smart cities like, Vellore, Salem, Erode, Chennai, Coimbatore, along with Pondicherry. And creating charging infrastructure was the responsibility of REIL for the state of Tamil Nadu. And also one city has gone to ESL. So they are creating these charging stations for 3-wheeler, 2-wheeler and 4-wheelers. Tamil Nadu, in consultation, in collaboration with the government of Germany, KfW, has also come out with a large scheme on e-buses. So all these, solar policy, electric vehicle policy, creating a charging infrastructure, and also utilizing the green energy, solar and wind energy, that is one of the. At the same time, in 2020, this year itself, the government has come out with the electronic and hardware manufacturing policy, and this is to support manufacturing of electronic parts in power and renewable energy sector. So that is one component where the government is saying capital subsidy 15% to 30% will be given, stamp duty exemption is given, land lease cost subsidy is being provided. So, and interest subvention on actual term loans is being provided, like a maximum of 5% capped at rupees 20 lakh per unit. Now, with this kind of thing, so that means from 2019, in the last 1.5 years, the realization has come upon the government, state government, to support the green energy, the manufacturing aspect, the solar policy. Although, Mr. Gupta and earlier speakers also mentioned about the RE integration kind of issues, the challenge the entrepreneurs are facing from distribution companies, the delays in payment and so on and so forth. But at the same time, the fact of the matter is that the government has realized that they need to take a step forward and complete the value chain on this. Now, what have been the developments on the investment space in Tamil Nadu? Solar. A Kolkata-based solar energy module manufacturer, as we know, has announced that they are going to set up a 3 gigawatt solar manufacturing facility in Tamil Nadu. They have signed a MOU with the state government in this regard. On July 20 this year, Tamil Nadu government signed 8 new memorandum of understanding, and that around 10,399 crore kind of investment in the area of solar cell and module manufacturing. So these two developments actually show that more and more companies are willing to set up the manufacturing base in Tamil Nadu for solar associated industries. So that is becoming a hub now, and that is why the TN Guidance also is pushing for that. And being a coastal state has its own advantage. So in one of the earlier sessions, it was discussed that import, export becomes easy. and you incur lesser cost as if you set it up in the heartland state. Owing to favorable policy environment, and we all know that Tamil Nadu has ample RE resources along with Karnataka and Gujarat, is a preference for ISTS bids. That's what we've seen earlier, and majority of the developers, when we talk to them, Tamil Nadu for several tranches of ISTS bids from SECI, Solar Energy Corporation of India, which has come about. One important announcement from the government side of it is, RPO targets have been set. So, for example, and TNERC has been quite aggressive in this regard. So, for 2021, for example, the RPO is 18.25%. 18.25%, of which solar is 8%. And for next year, that is FY22, the RPO is set at 21%, of which solar will be 10.5%, 50% of it. So that is a clear-cut intention of the regulatory commission and the distribution company and other players that there is a clear-cut roadmap, there is a path, come and invest, and we are ready to take up the burden of integrating it with our grid system. Tamil Nadu is, and Mr. Popley, you mentioned about it earlier about the solar pump scheme. So PM Kusum scheme, as it is called, solarization of and providing the benefit to the farmers on the agriculture pump side, solar pump side. So they have set a target of 17,500 solar pumps. That is what the government is saying, Tamil Nadu government. And 30% subsidy is coming, as we know, from the central government, and around the remaining is coming from the state government. So 17,500 off-grid standalone solar powered pumping stations, ranging from 5 horsepower to 10 horsepower, is what it is going to be. So this is a phase one. Phase one in the year FY20, they had 4,000. Then this year, I think they have another 13,500 solar pumps that the government is trying to. So these are some of the policy statements, policy investment climate, the kind of intentions coming from various entrepreneurs and businessmen, which I wanted to bring forth to the table. Over to you, Mr. Popley.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. They have worked on ease of doing business. They have come out with a EV policy which will bring in investment of 50,000 crores and maybe 1.5 million jobs you mentioned. Then they are working on RE integration. Then they have come out with a very, very favorable manufacturing policy for solar cells and PV. And I know few firms are already working on setting up shop there because they are giving concessional electricity and land and all these things. So I'm sure, and with improvement in liberal increase in RPO targets, I think more renewable energy is bound to come. Those days of earlier 4 or 5 years when there was a hiatus that there was no growth, not much growth in renewable in Tamil Nadu, I think are over. But and also they are into supporting Kusum scheme with 17,500 pumps. So now this brings me to another developer, CEO Mr. Sunil Jain, who has seen from scratch developing 1600 megawatt for Hero Future Energy and 600 megawatt in pipeline. Before that, he was with IDFC Infra. So he has a huge experience as a developer in renewable energy sector, and we would like to hear from him. He is also, incidentally, he was the first firm to come out for a group captive project in Tamil Nadu. And I think from there on, a large number of group captive projects came up in Tamil Nadu. So maybe he is a pioneer of bringing in group captive in Tamil Nadu. So over to Sunil, what barriers and what solutions you think for harnessing renewable in Tamil Nadu?
Thank you, Mr. Popley, and thank you, Madras Chamber, for inviting me to this conference. And conference is talking about probably one of the very progressive manufacturing states in the country. Tamil Nadu has a pride position in manufacturing. And I'm very pleased to be here. Before I talk, Tamil Nadu probably can evaluate everything from what they did in the auto sector. They are today a leading state in auto manufacturing. in the entire country. They have left behind a state like Maharashtra in auto manufacturing, or for that matter, Gurgaon, Haryana. So, what was right in auto manufacturing policy and what can be done to replicate those kind of policies in renewables? I think so that is something which the bureaucracy and the political leaders in Tamil Nadu must introspect. Tamil Nadu, I always found, had a progressive policies, but the ground realities actually did not sync with those policies. Unfortunately, I have not been able to hear the past leaders because I joined in late due to technical issue. But let me come to a point. Means I have got a couple of ideas which, if Tamil Nadu can do, it can probably not become an India leader in renewable. It could be a case study in the world for renewables. And why I say is that Tamil Nadu is probably one of the best states endowed with both wind and solar of the highest order. If you actually average out the numbers of wind and solar combined, Tamil Nadu would stand out number one, followed by Gujarat and Karnataka, and then other states. When I'm talking of combined, both wind and solar, I'm not talking of individual. Now, if you look at it, today probably we've got almost 15,000 megawatts of renewables installed in Tamil Nadu, which is almost, 15% of the total installed capacity of the country. That's a huge thing for a country with 30 states and 29 states. So they are doing something right. But then that big question mark, then why today Tamil Nadu is not an attractive destination for renewables? Well, the finances and the financial conditions of the TANGEDCO and the Tamil Nadu electricity sector is in shatters. And it is not in shatters from today. Probably this story goes back for last 10 years, or 12 years, or 14 years. Year on year, there are things we are finding short-term solutions. Tamil Nadu has an evacuation problem which is known all around the world. It's not only an Indian story. So if I have to go to my investors and say, I want to put up a wind project in Tamil Nadu, he says, what are you doing? No way. So that story has continued for years together without finding a solution, except a short-term or a one-off solution, installing a substation, transformer, or doing some line here and there. I have a radical solution for Tamil Nadu. If they can become probably the top renewable state in the world. And that is, you have a huge amount of evacuation infrastructure assets with you on your regulatory assets. Please monetize them. Please monetize them. I'm not saying you privatize DISCOM. No. I'm saying the transmission infrastructure should be monetized. Let Tamil Nadu government earn money from it. Give it to private sector. There will be many buyers. So basically what I'm trying to tell you is do a separation of carriage and content. And Tamil Nadu can be a leader in that. It can solve 85 to 90% of Tamil Nadu's problem if we monetize these transmission assets. The government gets money, the system becomes efficient, and you can plan for green corridors within the state. What Government of India is doing, you leave that. You plan your own green corridor within the state. And that green corridor should have the ability to connect to the power grid corridor. Tamil Nadu has to not only look at its own demand, it has to start feeding to the country. You have to start making a business sense for whatever you do and earn revenue and invest in ultimately to upgrade in the infrastructure. So if you monetize, then people will invest in the infrastructure. It's as simple as that. And because renewables costing is so low today, a 10, 20, 30 paisa add-on as a transmission cost or even a 50 paisa add-on the transmission cost is not going to make a difference. You'll be far more efficient, and actually you'll recover the cost through the efficiencies alone. The losses you make and the wastage of money you do because of those. So that is one thing. The second is Tamil Nadu can become a hub for the hybrid solution. Because Tamil Nadu has both the resources on equal abundance. And all the existing projects of those 20 years, I have been in Tamil Nadu for last 12, 13 years, and I know those sites in Kanyakumari and all the other Ramanathapuram and all are ripe sites to now do a repowering with a hybrid solution. Those sites can probably power the entire Tamil Nadu through hybrid. Entire Tamil Nadu. This is that kind of potential. So you have to now start harnessing this potential. We have got embroiled into controversies. Those repowering never happens. There has to be a concerted effort from the government, one-time investment of say 500 crores or 1,000 crores, and say, okay, PP is over. Now we want to repower it. Please come forward, remove the turbines. That's a great opportunity. Tamil Nadu can get, if not more, at least $20 billion in investment in renewables if that policy they bring out. Now, even if you do repowering, it will not help because you need infrastructure upgradation for evacuation. And that is the reason I'm saying you please monetize your infrastructure, give it to private parties, they will invest. It will be similar to a PPA for solar wind, a PPA for transmission in a different form. All I'm saying is that you, whatever the regulatory is there, you keep earning revenues. So you make a great wind solar hybrid model. You could be probably one of the best. The third thing, you're already a big hub in automobile. So you need storage battery manufacturing in Tamil Nadu. Because if electric car, electric scooter, whatever has to be manufactured, the battery has to be next door. You cannot transport a battery from Gurgaon to Tamil Nadu or vice versa. Because battery is a very heavy product. So you can't add cost to your product by just transporting dead weight. So ideally, the battery manufacturing plants have to be set up in Tamil Nadu. The moment you do it, you make it tri-grid. You encourage people to make solar, wind, and battery storage hub. You have to start thinking beyond the present. And that policy is very important. That, okay, I will encourage if people put up tri-grid plants. I will encourage people to put up hybrid plants. But I will give a enabling policy framework. People are not dependent on TANGEDCO today. You create an infrastructure, earn revenue, earn taxes, let the power go out if you don't need it. Let's not sell it to TANGEDCO because they don't have money. They can only get money if they start monetizing assets. Honestly speaking, it is not government business to generate power. Let it be with the private sector. Their job is to regulate the policy, regulate the market so that people don't, fleece the market. They don't make undue profits at the expense of the consumer. That's their job. So these are my submissions. Tamil Nadu, otherwise, I believe, can have a huge potential. Even today, that 8,000 megawatt what is installed can be actually the 3,000 old or 5,000 megawatt old repowering actually can give you a capacity. Even if it is 5,000 megawatt capacity only, the energy generation will be 4 times. 4 times, that means equivalent to 20,000 capacity. That's the potential they have. Now, this is one part of the story. The other part of the story is the rooftop. In Tamil Nadu, because such a highly industrialized state, Tamil Nadu has had policies of rooftop solar, but that is in fits and starts. You've got huge potential for rooftop because of industrialization. But what happens is, your policy says something, and on ground, when people put up, the impediments to even connect to the grid or connect to your plant are phenomenal. You will not allow certain capacity. because you want to protect your discom, so on and so forth, is a detrimental. You put up a cost. I'm saying you just put up a cost. Put up a charge and say that, okay, it is open. Anybody can put up rooftop, but you pay me X rupees per megawatt and you put up. No restriction. Rather than putting unnecessary restrictions which are contrary to your policy. So governments advised all over that please, your policy should be going hand in hand on actual ground realities. And don't make, policies saying something and actually implementation is something else. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you very much for bringing out very, very important aspects. One, everybody agrees that health of TANGEDCO has to improve if it has to become an investment destination. Then very important point you raised was that they should go for monetization of infrastructure, transmission infrastructure. Well, this is for them to debate and think over it. Then you said green corridors can be developed internally in Tamil Nadu. So that is a good suggestion. And then they get connected to the main, our national grid. Then you mentioned that this can become a hub for hybrid solution. Yes, that is very important because both solar and wind are equally available there. And they are already generating 24% of wind power, and solar also, they are doing very well. Probably what you said was maybe there is the rooftop, they had an emphasis on rooftop, but maybe you are right that there is a difference in what is the policy and what is the ground reality. So maybe that they have to look into. And of course, storage, if they do, that will be a natural convergence. I mean, if you are decarbonizing the auto sector or the transport sector, and then you have a manufacturing hub there because this is already doing well in manufacturing. So those things they can take. So thank you very much. Thank you. And then I invite Mr. Ganesan, who is Chief General Manager at Navely Lignite. So he has a view on coal as well as in renewable, and it will be very interesting to hear from Mr. Ganesan how his experience has been. And I think they have put 130 megawatt or so of wind project in Tamil Nadu. So what was their experience and what is his expectations from Tamil Nadu? Thank you. Sir, you have to unmute maybe.
Thank you, Mr. Public. NLC India Limited is a public sector in Tamil Nadu. Our prime business is power generation. Actually, we have been generating power in all modes of power generation. I would like to present one small presentation.
Yeah, please.
So I would like to present what NLCIL is doing for making Tamil Nadu a leader in power sector. Actually, we have pan-India presence. This small map shows how we are present in almost all parts of the country. We have taken up many new projects almost all states. But as of now, our generation is 5,661 megawatts. Our present generation is 5,661 megawatts. Out of that, the RE is renewable energy is 14,021 megawatt, 1,421 megawatts. I have to give the information that out of these 1,421 megawatt, 20 megawatt we have erected in Andaman. The balance 1,401 megawatt we have erected in Tamil Nadu. Incidentally, we are the number one public sector today. As of now, we are the number one public sector in the solar capacity. 14,000, actually 1,370 solar alone, 1,370 megawatt. We are number one company in the country with 51 megawatt wind also. actually we generate power in all modes. In this thermal sector, we are generating. Majority of our generation is from lignite-based thermal power stations. Totally 3,240 megawatt comes from lignite power generation. And we have 1,000 megawatt power station, coal-based 1,000 megawatt power station in Tuticorin in southern part of Tamil Nadu. In addition, as I already mentioned, 1,421 megawatts from renewable energy. And in the renewable energy, again, we have tried all modes of renewable energy generation. We have got solar, then we have got in the solar, in the floating solar, then we have 1 megawatt of rooftop solar also. In addition, in Andaman, we have storage capacity, 8 megawatt storage. This is the highest capacity in the country again, 8 megawatt storage capacity that will ensure uninterrupted, that if a smooth power supply throughout the day. For that purpose, we have installed 8 megawatt of storage capacity in Andaman. So, for making Tamil Nadu as a prime power sector, NLCIL's contribution is major. With this 5,641 megawatt, totally 5,641 megawatt is coming from NLCL for Tamil Nadu. This is the that installed capacity of Tamil Nadu as of now. We are contributing in thermal, renewable, in meeting this target. So this is a capacity. This is not an energy mix. It is a capacity mix in Tamil Nadu as of now, and we are a major contributor as thermal as well as in the renewable energy. This is a statewide solar ranking. This is a potential available in Tamil Nadu, that up to 17.67 gigawatts is possible as per the data in Tamil Nadu. So regarding Tamil Nadu, just I'll tell about a little about the Tamil Nadu's achievements. Pioneering wind power generation projects. It has opportunity for establishing offshore wind power projects. As our Mr. Jain has rightly said, this is a very good place for hybrid power generation. Then good transmission network also available with it. Policy and regulatory support in place for development, and home for major RE project developers. Coming to the, since our all other previous eminent speakers have thrown light on the issues of power generation in Tamil Nadu, I would like to present one general issue that Tamil Nadu may face in future. Number one is, in the case of renewable energy development, land procurement is a major problem. As day by day it is becoming a complicated area. Land procurement and the land acquisition has becoming a problematic area. So we, in our near future project, we are planning for 2,000 megawatts solar park in southern Tamil Nadu. For that, we have made joint venture with the Tamil Nadu government itself, so that the problematic area can be removed. That is, it is the responsibility of Tamil Nadu government to acquire land and hand over to NLCL. So jointly we will develop on 2,000 megawatt solar park initially. That is our immediate project now. In addition, not only for Tamil Nadu, the two general issue I feel it may become an issue for the whole nation. That is the recent ultra low tariff of solar. The consequences is, or why it looks unrealistic is, as of now, the module price is increasing. Steel price is increasing. Diesel is increasing. So how can this tariff alone can come down? Or will it be realistic? Will it? Can we stabilize the solar industry with the low tariff? Can we stabilize the solar industry? This is definitely going to be an issue for the whole country, not only for Tamil Nadu, the whole country. This issue is to be addressed. My opinion is this tariff is to be stabilized. There should be a reasonable or realistic tariff should emerge. There should a realistic tariff should emerge. Then alone, this industry, solar industry, will progress steadily. This is one issue. On the part of the thermal, because of this low solar tariff, there is no buyers for purchase of thermal power. For information, for the last 5 years, I think only one PPA has been signed in solar power, in thermal side. Only one PPA has been signed in the last 5 years. And in near future, definitely nobody will come for making any PPA in thermal sector. Reason is, people have started comparing the solar tariff with the power tariff. So definitely thermal power cannot be equal to solar power. So comparing this solar power with the thermal power, there is a stagnation in thermal power sector. There will be stagnation. Nobody will be ready to come forward for making any PPA. These are the two issues that are to be addressed immediately for the development of power sector, not only for the Tamil Nadu, but for the whole country. With these few points, thank you very much for the opportunity. I've got many positive or useful inputs from the previous eminent speakers. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Ganeshan. Very good that you raised two important points. I will have my comments on those 2 points. But before that, I would like to congratulate NLC. They are contributing almost 10% to the renewable energy in Tamil Nadu, and they are also planning big in renewable energy. That is a good sign. Now, the 2 things: one, of course, land issues. You have found a way. You are getting into a joint venture with Tamil Nadu government, so that issue they have to resolve land issues. But the second you said is, low tariff is not permitting generation of thermal power capacity. So maybe those who are in for climate change, it is good, and that is what is required. And see, also if you look at this might the solution is there, because SECI has come out with bids for hybrid of thermal as well as renewable, thermal and solar. So maybe 51% power has to be from renewable, balance could be from thermal. So that could be a way forward for some more time when they go for round the clock power. But then definitely, I don't know whether they should cap that rate at this rate, or because the solar rates are bound to keep falling. I mean, in next 10 years, they might further drop by 30%. So all the time that the prices for solar have been coming down, every time people have felt that these have been aggressive bids, but the projects have come, and I know there could be, but here also when the 2 rupee tariff was bid, there are 2 public sector undertakings who are bidding it. So I don't think they would have taken risk, because in both the tenders, NTPC was there. NTPC had bid for 2 rupees, NTPC Renewable Energy Company, and again at 1.99 rupee. So they have come. But yes, apparent impression is that this is this may not be viable, but that is not so. So with these words, I would like to thank my excellent panel, starting with Mr. P.P. Gupta, Mr. Amit, Mr. Sunil Jain, and Mr. Ganeshan for bringing out, highlighting major issues in Tamil Nadu, coming out with good policies in Tamil Nadu. And with these words, I would like to thank all the panelists. We must give a big round of applause once again to all the panelists. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Popli.
Thanks a lot, the chairman, Mr. Popley, very well conducted and wonderful, very candid informations. I think we are going to have tough time compiling everything and taking it to the government. We will require your support. I would now request Mr. Suryanarayana Rao, the co-chair of our energy committee, to probably formally conclude and wind up the session, please.
Thank you, Saraswati. That was, and thank you, Mr. Popley. Last session was very good. There were quite a lot of candid submissions and a lot of information that has been put together. I'm sure from MCCI side, we will want you to get more inputs from you to put together. And Dr. Bajaj, he had really done a great job and finally put a target for internally to set at 5 rupees along with Balakrishnan. That was nice. We will, from the MCCI side, on behalf of the President and the Secretary General, we will be compiling a white paper as well. We will do the summation of this later.
Your voice is breaking, Mr. Suri.
Breaking?
Yeah, a little bit. Yes, please. Now it's better. Please.
Yeah. Just saying on behalf of MCCI, the President and the Secretary General, I thank all the participants and the panelists for having come. It's quite heartening to note that what's the drop of 3 participants. All of us have stayed through the full program. Thank you, Mr. Sunil Jain and Mr. Gupta. Very candid, your observations. I'm sure we will be able to making note of some of the points and compiling the paper. Thank you, Mr. Sahi. I don't think he is there at the moment for having taken up the inaugural session.
Put on
Thank you, everybody. And it's late. I don't want to take much of your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you so much.
Everyone from the Madras Chamber, a very happy New Year, happy season's greetings to all of you. We are happy. We are almost closing the year with the IEF joint program. Probably we'll continue our relationship and go a long way. Probably we can review some of the suggestions put forth. Would you like to add anything?
Okay.
Just wanted to add that, it has been a very candid session, Mr. Sunil and Mr. P.P. Gupta. That's, I was expecting something fiery and very concrete, and that's what you get. I mean, I'm very glad that, they came out with the actual facts. Really interesting to hear them, and thank all the participants also who came in large numbers to attend the conference. Mr. Kumar also, I mean, very nice to hear you. All your views. Thanks a lot to all the participants, all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Bambani. Special thanks to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Unfortunately, you was cut off.
Thank you. Thank you, Saraswati ji.
Thank you, Mr. Popley.
Thank you, Venkat.
Thanks, Mr. Dr.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.